in the Ruach Yahweh, and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of Adam, can these bones live? And I answered, O Adonai Yahweh, you know. Again he said unto me, Prophesy unto these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus says Adonai Yahweh unto these bones, Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live.
Hey, Yexer.
Signs of the times, take a look at all these blood moons. Nation against nation, Yasharah, we going home soon. Ice melts with fervent heat, elemental cold bars. Messiah coming back from sky, watching blow the shofar. My people waking up, returning to the Torah. America's Babylon, another Sodom and Gomorrah. Scattered to the four corners, African diaspora. 7 feast days, 7 branches on menorah. Yahuwah is Yahusha, manifested in flesh, and he shed his own blood and experienced death. You will never understand without the Ruach HaKodesh, and the dry bones awakening. Yahuwah gets breath. The dry bones awakening. Yasharal is awakening. Yahudah, he is straightening, returning to Yahuwah so quickly we are hastening. The dry bones awakening. Yasharal is awakening. Yahudah, he is straightening, returning to Yahuwah so quickly we are hastening. Yasharah will rise, we the people of Zion, and his judgment for the heathens from the tribe of the lion. And the grafted in is with us, cause their hearts have been ripened. Other nations will perish, cause of Torah defiance. Made no account of our labors, they were lawless and pious. And instead of Yahuwah gave you religion and science. And no mention of Yahusha, they just forced your compliance. The oppressor still prospers while we suffer in silence. What's one way to destroy a black king or a queen? Push abortion, LGBT, tell them take the vaccine. Black culture in America only feeding the evil. Dry bones awakening, Yahuwah still loves his people. The dry bones awakening. Yasharal is awakening. Yahudah, he is straightening, returning to Yahuwah so quickly we are hastening. The dry bones awakening. Yasharal is awakening. Yahudah, he is straightening, returning to Yahuwah so quickly we are hastening. The dry bones awakening. Yasharal is awakening. Yahudah, he is straightening, returning to Yahuwah so quickly we are hastening. The dry bones awakening. Yasharal is awakening. The dry bones awakening. Yasharal is awakening.
Hey, Yexer.
Wrote this letter to Yahuwah, it's entitled Dear Abba. Heard the cries of your people and you rain down manna. And your love knows no bounds in Abba. Read it's called a Haba. Creator of all things, Yahuwah is my Abba. Sometimes I feel unworthy cause I'm really far from perfect. To serve you is my purpose and Yahusha made it worth it. Salvation through your son, no price and no purchase. You called us your people, we was taught that we was worthless. Yahuwah is eternal, holy one of Yasharel. Yahuwah Eloheinu, all them demons you repel. When I'm grieving, you relieve me, it is with me that you dwell. And your Melachim camp around me, you love me when I fail. Sometimes I make mistakes, I reverse and hit the brakes. But through faith, I see grace, and one day I'll see your face. Your Yahusha gave us life when he stood all in our place. Righteous king named Yahusha, he is worthy of my praise. Yahuwah and Yahusha, yeah, I say aloud their names. Their names are perpetual and no, they can't be changed. And we grow closer every day, will never be estranged. If you listen to this song, then let me hear you say, yeah, I am not alone. Ay, I am not alone. I'm walking in your ways, I'm not walking in my own. I can feel your spirit cause you make your presence known. At the sound of the trumpet, one day we all go home. Yeah, I am not alone. Ay, I am not alone. I'm walking in your ways, I'm not walking in my own. I can feel your spirit cause you make your presence known. At the sound of the trumpet, one day we all go home. Yeah. Wrote this letter to Yahuwah, it's entitled Dear Abba. Heard the cries of your people and you rain down mana. And your love knows no bounds in Abba. Read it's called a Abba. Creator of all things, Yahuwah is my Abba. Wrote this letter to Yahuwah, it's entitled Dear Abba. Heard the cries of your people and you rain down mana. And your love knows no bounds in Abba. Read it's called a Abba. Creator of all things, Yahuwah is my Abba.
Hey, Yexer.
All esteem to the Most High, creator of all things, Abba of all creation, Yahuwah and his beloved son, Yahusha. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Good to see you guys here. If you can give esteem to the Most High, can I get everyone in this chat to drop a all praises to the Most High in the chat? Hallelujah. Welcome back, family. Good to see you guys. Can I get an all praises to the Most High in the chat? Shout out to our moderator, Markia. Shabbat Shalom, beloved sister. We've got Elizabeth H. Drew in the building. Shabbat Shalom, beloved. We've got Tracy Bakya. Shabbat Shalom, sis. Good to see you. We got our other moderator, Ralph Cormer II in the building. Shabbat Shalom, family. Good to see you. We got our Ak Phil Lach Yahoo in the building. Shabbat Shalom, fam. We've got Cece in the building. Shabbat Shalom. We got Cindy Carr in the building. Shabbat Shalom, beloved. We have M. Williams. I want to give a shout out to M. Williams, sis. Thank you so much for joining our channel membership. Make sure to show her some love, y'all. All esteem to the Most High. We've got Revelations of Israel in the building. All esteem to Yahuwah. Shabbat Shalom, sis. We've got Catmosphere in the building. Shabbat Shalom. We've got Frank Arboreg in the building. Welcome back, Ak. Shabbat Shalom. Can I get all praises to the Most High in the chat? I see him. All praises to the Most High, Yahuwah, forever. Hallelujah, Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. We got our Ak Yahukanan. Shabbat Shalom, family. Good to see you, family. All right, family. So before we jump into this, I have a few announcements I need to make. Now, I don't know if she's here, but we have a sister, Hadassah. I don't think she's in here right now, but I told her that this show that I would promote this movie she's doing. So let me just share my screen before we jump into this, family. Give me 1 second. So first and foremost, this is her channel, okay? She's a sister of mine. We are both obviously in the truth. This is her channel. It's called The Hidden Ones Media, okay? Our beloved sister, Hadassah. And she just did a movie, a really good AI movie that she just released it, called It Is Finished, The Reunification of a Nation. And it's an AI movie. It's about 32 minutes long, and it shows how our people ended up in Americas, what happened with the slave trade, how some of the Yahudim ended up in, Portugal, and then they ended up in West Africa. It gives you the whole layout of what happened with the Romans in 70 AD, so on and so forth. So please be sure to check her out. She's been doing a lot of work out here, waking up people in the Caribbeans, waking up Yasharal, helping to awaken these dry bones. So please be sure to check out her YouTube. It is the Hidden Ones Media channel. And also, I'm going to be posting the link to her YouTube channel in the chat in just a second. But I'm also going to watch the trailer with you guys before we get into this lesson. So let me just close this screen out real quick. Give me 1 second. And we are going to just take a look at this trailer real quick before we jump into this study. All right. Just in case some people might be interested, may want to see what this is about, we're going to watch the trailer right now. So let me full screen this, and we're going to check this out, family, real quick. I hope this will be exciting for some of you, because I've always wanted to see a depiction of Yasharah and what led us to these events that have taken place in the scripture. And this movie does a great job. I literally had a tear come to my eye when I watched it. All right, family, here we go. Woo! Look at that. Yada yada, man. The music and everything about this film is just it. It is just it. So please go support our sister in Yahuwah, Yahusha, and check out her channel, The Hidden Ones. Okay. And maybe at the end of the stream, the movie's about 30 something minutes, 32 minutes. Maybe we could watch the film together, but I'd rather direct you to her channel. So matter of fact, let me post the link to her channel in the chat. Just in case you guys might want to check this out. Okay. This is the link to her channel on YouTube. Okay. Now, one more thing I want to say before we jump into this lesson is I want to give a shout out to everyone that has joined the channel membership. I got to give a shout out to those who've showed love and joined the YouTube membership. Shout out to Eddie Jackson, Karina Johnson, M. Williams, and James Harriet. They have joined our channel membership. I'm so thankful to those who have joined. It's much appreciated. I just wanted to give a shout out to those who have done that. And lastly, before we start this lesson, I've got one more thing to show you guys, one more thing to discuss with you. To those who have been sending me super chats, it's greatly appreciated, but for some reason, I've been having troubles with YouTube being able to send me the super chats. So if you just by any means feel like donating, please send it to my Cash App, because I still have to figure out some forms with YouTube. I got to fill out paperwork and all this other stuff, and I've been having an issue being able to get those super chats. So if you want to donate, please send it to Malkaya Music. Okay, this is it right here. Hashtag Malkaya Music. All right. Okay, without further ado, we're going to jump into this. Y'all daughter just sent 20. Thank you so much, sis. So we're going to jump into this lesson, family. This is a very, very important lesson. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. Let me just pull up my presentation. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. So as you guys can see from the title, this lesson is going to be, what does it mean to be chosen? This is not discussed amongst in Israelite communities. A lot of people do not understand what this means. And in this video, we're going to prove without a shadow of a doubt what being chosen means and what the responsibilities of that entail as us being the Israelites, or what you call the Yasharalim in the Abari tongue. Okay? What does it mean to be chosen, the chosen people of Yahuwah? In this study, we'll take a look at what this means and prove with scripture why Yasharah was chosen by Yahuwah in the first place. This is not often discussed, talked about, or understood. And because it isn't, it has caused many to become puffed up and create an idol out of themselves. What do I mean by that? When we focus more about our bloodline and who we are as a people, it distracts from what our purpose is as the chosen people of Yahuwah. There's nothing wrong with knowing who you are. There's nothing wrong with helping the Gentiles know that. But always remember that our service is to Yahuwah and not to ourselves. Okay? The chosen people of Yahuwah are servants to him at this present time, and we shall always be about his business and point the nations to him and his son Yahusha. There is nothing wrong with knowing who you are. Okay, I'm going to say that again. There is nothing wrong with knowing who you are, but it means nothing if you have not yet stepped into your priestly position. Being chosen is an immense responsibility, and if you do not use it properly, you will get it worse than the other nations. Do not let your knowledge of being chosen overshadow your purpose. Let me say that again. If you do not use it properly, you will get it worse than the other nations. You know why? Because he came to our people directly. We are the original children of the covenant. If we do not handle this being called by Yahuwah responsibly, we will get it way worse than the other nations. The Edomites, the Moabites, the ancient Egyptians, and everyone that's part of the Psalms 83 conspiracy. We will get it worse because we are his children by bloodline. Do not let your knowledge of being chosen overshadow your purpose. I see this a lot with some Israelites, not all, where it's just all about them. It's just all about, yeah, we're the chosen. Yeah, we're the chosen. Oh, look at me. Look at me. I'm Yahudah. Oh, I'm Yahudah. Listen, there's nothing wrong with that. But we have to point the nations to Yahuwah and Yahusha. That's the whole purpose of being chosen. And we're going to prove that as we continue. Okay? Now, some Abari words to know. The first word, we've used it before, is barith. Okay? You've got the bat, you've got the rash, you've got the yad, and you've got the thou. That gives you barith, which means covenant. Okay? Now, when it comes to Alua Shadi means Almighty Alua. Sometimes you might see it shortened to Al Shadi, okay, which means, or Alua Shadi, which means Almighty Alua, okay, pretty self-explanatory. Bakir means chosen, okay, so you've got the bat, you've got the kat, you've got the yad, and you've got the rash. Bakir means chosen, okay, and then of course when you put ami with the word bakir, you get chosen people, okay? So ha bakir ami, the chosen people, okay? The bat, the kat, the yad, the rash, you've got the ayin, you've got the mom, and you've got the yad. That gives you ami, bakir ami, the chosen people, okay? There are some things about being chosen many of our brethren do not want to acknowledge. But if you think your opinion has bearing over the word, you are greatly mistaken. Yasharal was chosen because every single nation outside of Yasharal were pagans, whether it's the Moabites, whether it's the Egyptians. One thing people fail to understand is even some people of Abraham's seed were pagans. I'm talking about the other children he had, you know, with these other wives. They were all Shemitic people. They were all descended from Abar or Eber, but some of them did not know Yahuwah. Clearly, I mean, look at Esau, bro. Look at his descendants to this very day. They're involved in paganism. So you have to understand that just because someone came from Abraham's seed, just because they came from Abar, or just because they came from the Shemitic people, doesn't mean that they were not pagan. The only people who weren't pagan were Yasharal. And everyone, you know, through Isaac and through Jacob, everyone outside of that were pagans for the most part. Okay. Every single nation outside of Yasharal were pagans. They all believed in their deities as supreme. Yahuwah had a plan for his power
presence and existence to be demonstrated that the other nations fear him and serve him. Yes, Yahuwah chose Yasharal to witness to the nations that he is the only true living Aluah. Part of being called is to witness to the nations. If you read and understand the scriptures, Yahuwah had a plan to do this from the beginning through Abraham's seed, which would be through Yahusha the Messiah. And we're going to take a look at these scriptures here. This is Barashit, Genesis 3:14 through 15. And Yahuwah Aluah said unto the serpent, because you've done this, you're cursed above all cattle, above every beast of the field. Upon your belly you shall go, and dust shall you eat all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, between your seed and her seed. It shall bruise your head, you shall bruise his heel. Obviously, this is a messianic prophecy of the coming Messiah and the serpent seed that would come also. Okay, so we have a messianic prophecy in the very first book of the Torah. All right. This is verse 16. And I've said by myself, I've sworn 7 hosts. Oh, wait, you know what? I'm sorry, y'all. This is actually from this is from Genesis 22. All right. This is about Isaac. Okay, and Abraham. If you're familiar with the story, Abraham was about to sacrifice his son Isaac, or Yatshak. Okay, the Most High stopped him, and he ended up telling him that because of your obedience, I'm going to bless all the nations of the earth through your seed. So we'll just read through it real quick. And I said by myself, have I sworn 7 oaths, says Yahuwah, for because you have done this thing and have not withheld your only son, your Yaqid, that in blessing you, I will bless you, and in multiplying, I will multiply your seed as the stars of the heaven and as the sand which is upon the sea shore, and your seed shall possess the gate of his enemies, and in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because you obey my voice. So it says all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Those nations who accept the Messiah. So the Most High had a plan to bring about his son, that any nation that will accept his son and the blood sacrifice of the Pesach lamb, who is Yahusha, shall be blessed. But this prophesied Messiah, this prophesied seed, would come through Abraham and his descendants. Okay? Pretty self-explanatory. Let's keep going. Those scriptures we read have established from the very first book of the Torah, Barashit or Genesis. Now let's take a look at some more scriptures to prove all things, and it becomes more clear that our purpose in being the chosen people of Yahuwah. Now, let's take a look at Masha, or Moses. This is him right here. His story gives a great insight to our purpose as the chosen people. Now keep in mind, Masha was from the tribe of Loi, or Levi, the royal priesthood. Now, if you guys know about the royal priesthood, that's Moses's, descendants, his brother Aaron, his sister Miriam. They were all from the tribe of Levi, or Lui, the Luim. Okay, they were the royal priesthood. They entered into the holies of holies. They carried the Ark of the Covenant. They did the animal sacrifices, the commemoration of the temple. They had a very priestly position prescribed to them by the Most High. The functions and activities that they did for the Most High was only for them. Got to understand, the Most High is an Alua of order. So even when it comes to the other Israelites, they were not allowed to do the things that the priests were supposed to do, the royal priesthood. Always understand the Most High is an Alua of order, okay? The royal priesthood had a very special purpose to Yahuwah. Let's go through Shamuth or Exodus to gain more insight about how Masha's interaction with Yahuwah was unique itself. But before we look into Masha or Moses, we have to look at why he was sent to gather the children of Yasharah. There's always a purpose in everything, and it always goes back to Habarith, or the covenant with Abraham. Yahuwah will never forsake the covenant he made with our forefathers. All right, this is Barashit or Genesis 17, 1 through 11. We're just going to read about this covenant he established with our father Abraham. And when Abraham was 90 years old and 99, Yahuwah appeared to Abraham and said unto him, I am Al-Shadi, walk before me and be perfect, and I will make my barith between me and you and I will multiply you exceedingly. And Abram fell in his faith, and Elua talked with him, saying, as for me, behold, my barith, or covenant, is with you, and you shall be a father of many nations. Neither shall your name no more be called Abram, but your name shall be called Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made you. And I will make you exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of you, and kings shall come out of you. Once again, when you really understand that prophecy, he said kings shall come out of Abraham. We had Daud, we had Solomon, we had Ahaz, we had Hezekiah, and we also have Yahusha, the Messiah. So you could almost think of that as a messianic prophecy. I will establish my barith between me, you, and your seed after you and your generations for an everlasting covenant, or barith, to be a lua unto you and to your seed after you. And I will give unto you and to your seed after you the land wherein you are a stranger, all the land of Canaan for everlasting possession, and I will be their alua. Okay, so we see this is the Most High talking to Abraham. His name is changed from Abram to Abraham, and he says, I'm going to establish this barith, this covenant with you. This will make sense as we continue to read on. And Elua said unto Abraham, you shall guard, or shamar, my barith. Therefore, you and your seed after you in their generations. So that's from generation to generation to generation. Yes, we are the chosen, but we are also called to guard this covenant. And now that we have this covenant through Messiah, we also must guard that covenant because it is the renewed covenant. Okay? Always remember, I told you guys, Yahuwah works in covenants. This is my barith, which you shall shamar, or guard, between me, you, and your seed after you. Every male among you shall be circumcised. You shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin. It shall be a sign of the barith betwixt me and you. Now, the Most High commanded that Abraham, or Abraham, circumcise himself and circumcise every male 8 days after birth, because it was a sign of the covenants. We were the only people on the earth that did this. Our people, the males. Now, according to the renewed covenants, circumcision of the flesh is no longer required because we are to be circumcised in the heart. But according to the Torah of the days of old, when the mixed multitude was amongst us, they also had to be circumcised in order to dwell with us. But because of Yahusha and this renewed covenant, circumcision of the flesh is no longer required. But those nations that join to us must also be circumcised in the heart. Okay, so it's no longer of a fleshly nature, but more so of the heart. We, as the chosen, have to be circumcised in the heart, but the nations that cleave to us must also be circumcised in the heart and take a hold of this barith. Okay, this barith kadashah, this renewed covenant. All right. So what made Yahuwah choose Masha, or Moses, to deliver his people? Simple question, right? Well, Yahuwah heard the oppression of his people in Mitzrayim, or Egypt, and he remembered Habarith, or the covenant. This is Shamuth 2, 23-25. And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Mitzrayim, or Egypt, died, and the children of Yasharal sighed by the reason of bondage, and they cried, and their cry came up unto Elua by reason of bondage. And Elua heard their groaning, and Elua remembered his barith, or his covenant, with Abraham, with Yatshak, and with Yakub. And Elua looked upon the children of Yasharal, and Elua had respect unto them. Yasharal, you need to understand something. Whenever you feel like you need to cry out to the Most High, do not hold that back, because he will remember the covenant he made with Abraham. I know we're tired of this world. We're tired of America. We're tired of everything. And that's going to be my next study. We are going to be talking about calling on the Most High for judgment, because enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? he will remember the covenant he made with our father Abraham. And when you cry out to him with one consent, he hears us and he will move. He will not forsake the covenant he made with our fathers. Hallelujah. Hold on. Let me give a shout out to our sister, Hadassah. She is in the chat, family. Want to give a shout out to her. Shalom, sis. Thank you so much. A lot of the people in the chat are excited about this movie. They can't wait to watch it. And I'm also going to post the link one more time in the chat. So after the show, if people want to go watch it, they'll be able to get to it. So thank you so much, sis, for joining with us today. All esteem to the Most High. All right. Catmosphere says Abraham's father worshipped idols. Yes, he did. His father, Terach, was a pagan. He not only worshipped idols, he sold idols to everybody. And he was trying to get Abraham to sell idols. Abraham was chosen because he was seeking the Most High from a very young age. And if you want to understand a little bit more about Abraham in his boyhood days, he realized that his father's idols had no power. He could take a statue of an idol and drop and break it and realize, how do these have power? They can't even save themselves from being broken. So he was seeking the Most High from a very young age, and the Most High came to him and revealed himself to him. So he was chosen for a great purpose. Linda Rutherford is in the building. Shabbat Shalom says, good to see you. All right, family, I'm going to get back to the comments, but I want to continue on with this. But family, enough is enough. Call on the Most High. Call on his name. We should be calling for judgment upon these heathens, because if we don't, they will continue to do evil unto us. And there's nothing wrong with the Most High when you need him to move. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. So we're going to continue on. Actually, give me a second here. Forgot to get this comment here. Okay. All right. Let's continue. This is Shamuth, or Exodus 6:4. And I also established my bereaf with them, or my covenant with them, to give them the land of Canaan or Canaan, the land of their sojournings in which they have sojourned. And I have heard the groaning of the children of Yasharal, who the Egyptians or the Matsurim were enslaving, and I've remembered my bereaf, or my covenant. Say therefore to the children of Yasharal, Ahaya Yahuwah, I am Yahuwah. And I shall bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians, and shall deliver you from their enslaving, and shall redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great judgments. And I shall take you as my people, and I shall be your Alua. And you shall know that I am Yahuwah, your Alua, who is bringing you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. And I shall bring you into the land which I swore to give to Abraham, to Yatshak, to Yaqub, and give it to you as an inheritance, Ahaya Yahuwah. So always remember, family, when the Most High brings us out of here, it will be no small thing. One, he will prove that he is fighting for us, but he will also prove to the heathen nations, these are my children you've oppressed. And I'm going to prove to you that there is a judgment that's coming to America, that's coming to these nations that have oppressed us, that took us captive, the lands of our captivity. And these judgments will come at his hand, because he is Yahuwah and he fights for his children. Do not be afraid to call out to the Most High. When you're dealing with oppression, when you're dealing with racism, when you're dealing with racial profiling, when you're dealing with just the nations coming against you, cry out to him. Cry out to him. He hears us. All right, let's continue. Now, we will revisit the burning bush scene from the book of Shamuth. Now, what's interesting about this, family, I literally was rereading Exodus or Shamuth, and I didn't know this at first. Contrary to popular beliefs, Moses, or Masha, was the first person the Most High gave his name to Even before Isaac, even before Jacob, even before Abraham, Moses was the first person he gave his name to, and I'm going to prove it. A lot of people do not know this, but Masha Moses was the very first person Yahuwah revealed his name to. Let's read the scriptures. This is Shamuth, Exodus 3, 1 through 18. And Masha was shepherding the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian or Madian, and he led the flock to the back of the wilderness and came to Korab or Horeb, the mountain of Alua. And Yahuwah appeared to him in a flame of fire from the midst of a bush, and he looked and saw the bush burning with fire, but the bush was not consumed. And Masha said, let me turn aside now and see this great sight and why the bush does not burn. And Yahuwah saw that he turned aside to see. And Eluah called him from the midst of the bush and said, Masha, Masha. And he said, here I am. And he said, do not come near. Take your sandals off your feet. For the place on which you stand is Kadash or separated ground. And he said, Ahaya ha Alua, Abba ha Alua Abaram, ha Alua Yasha, ha Alua Yakub. I am Yahuwah, the Alua of Abraham, the Alua of Yatshak, and the Alua of Jacob. And Masha hid his face, for he was afraid to look at Alua. And Yahuwah said, I have indeed seen the oppression of my people who are in Egypt, and I've heard their cry because of their slave drivers, for I know their sorrows. I've come to deliver them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them to the land that is good and spacious, a land flowing with milk and honey, to the place of Canaanim, the Canaanites, the Kathim, the Hittites, the Amorim, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. And now see, the children of Yasharah has come to me. I've seen the oppression of them in which the Egyptians oppressed them. And now I'm sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the children of Yasharah, out of Egypt. And Masha said to Alua, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and that I should bring the children of Yasharah out of Egypt? And he said, because I am with you. And this is to you the sign that I've sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you are to serve Alua on this mountain. And Masha said to Alua, see, when I come to the children of Yasharah and say to them, the Alua of your fathers has sent me to you, and they say to me, what is his name? What shall I say to them? And Alua said, Ahaya, Ashar, Ahaya, which means I am that which I am. And he said, thus shall you say to the children of Yasharah, Ahaya has sent me to you. And Alua said further unto Masha, thus you are to say to the children of Yasharah, Yahuwah, Alua of your fathers, Ha Alua Abaram, Ha Alua Yashak, Ha Alua Yakub has sent me to you. Now, I know there are some people out here that think the Most High's name is Ahaya, but we can clearly see that he says, I am has sent me to you. And then Alua further said, thus you are to say to the children of Yasharah, Yahuwah, Alua of your fathers has sent me to you. Ahaya tells you what he is. He is the great I am. He is that which he is. Yahuwah tells you who he is. There's a difference. There is a difference. Okay. Now, can you refer to the Most High as Ahaya, the great I am? Yeah, of course. But that's just another title. It's no different than the Most High. It's no different than Ab, Father. It's no different than, the Creator. But his name, Yahuwah, is forever. And I just want to clear that up because I know a lot of people think his name is not Yahuwah, but it's Yahuwah, family. All right, let's continue on. This is my name forever. Listen, this is my name forever, and this is my remembrance to all generations. Go, and you shall gather the elders of Yasharah together and say to them, Yahuwah, Alua of your fathers, Ha Alua, Abaram, Uyashak, Yakub appeared to me, saying, I have indeed visited you and seen what was done in Egypt. And I say, I am bringing you up out of the affliction of Egypt to the land of the Canaanites and the Kathim and the Amorites, Perizzites, Hittites, and Jebusites, to a land flowing with milk and honey. They shall listen to your voice, shall come to the elders of Yasharal, to the sovereign of king of Egypt, and you shall say to him, Yahuwah, Eluah the Hebrews, has met with us. And now please let us go 3 days journey into the wilderness to slaughter to Yahuwah our Eluah. All right, family. Before I continue on, let me just read some of the comments here. I know a lot's been said. Morning Glow, Shabbat Shalom says, good to see you. All esteem to Yahuwah. Praise Yahuwah. Our FO Judah says, yes, preacher, Yahuwah will fight on behalf of his people, and he always wins. That's what the nations have to understand. You cannot prevail against the Most High of Yasharal. There's no stopping him. That's what I'm saying. Once he slides for us, once we call out, once he hears the voices of his people, there is no stopping him. And when he comes, he's coming with power and might. And the nations won't be able to stop it, which is why they need to be on the right side of this and accept his people. Rejecting his people is being against the Most High, whether they want to accept it or not. All esteem to the Most High. Okay, let me see. I'm going to continue on here. I'm just reading some of these comments. Maurice Masha, Shabbat Shalom, family. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yahuwah is our creator. Yes. I mean, I'm not saying that referring to him as a creator is bad, because he is, right? These titles, there's nothing wrong with using titles to describe our Father, right? But his name is his name forever, as it says in the scriptures. You know, my name is my name to all generations, Yahuwah, forever. You know, and so I just tell people that there's nothing wrong with using titles. I use the Most High, but I identify who that Most High is, because a lot of these pagan, religions, Islam, Christianity, they all believe that their deities are the Most High. You go listen to some of these people in Islam, these Muslims, they say all praises to the Most High, and then they say A-L-L-A-H. No, I'm going to identify who the Most High is. That is Yahuwah, period, point blank. He is the Most High. These deities of these heathens don't even compare to our Father, the one who made everything, because they're literally just other names for Satan. And the thing is, these other deities, and Satan is a created being. The created cannot transcend the creator. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, you said names matter just like our name. I have a title, mom, woman, but my name is Elizabeth. Absolutely, beloved. Absolutely. Praise Yahuwah. I have to esteem the Most High. All right, let's get back to it, family. I'll get more into these comments as we move forward. All right, so we just read about Masha's encounter with the Most High. Now, when we go to the moment where Yahuwah tells Masha that I will send you to deliver my people, pay close attention to what he tells them at the beginning of chapter 6. When I found this out, it blew my mind. I did not know this before. Take a look at this. And Yahuwah said to Masha, now see what I do to Pharaoh, for with a strong hand, he is going to let them go. And with a strong hand, he is going to drive them out of his land. And Eluah spoke to Masha and said to him, I am Yahuwah. And I, Yahuwah, appeared to Abraham, to Yatshak, and Yakub as Eluah Shadi. And by my name, Yahuwah, was I not known to them? Family, when I read this, I did not know that prior to Moses, Yahuwah had not revealed his name to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob. He was known as the Almighty Eluah, or the Most High Eluah, right? His name had not been revealed until that moment at that burning bush. They knew him as the Almighty Eluah. That's just so interesting. I did not know that. Moses was the first person to know his name. And why is that? Because the Most High was going to use Masha to help these Egyptians know their deities are fake, number one, and also to prove himself to his people. I'm going to bring you out. You're the Egyptians of the deities. Egyptians are not going to deliver you. Your father, the one who made a covenant with your people, is going to deliver you. That's why a lot of times when you hear about the Most High judging the nations, he says, they shall know I am Yahuwah. I am Yahuwah, no one else. Yada Yahuwah. All right. So Yahuwah came to Abraham, Yatshak, and Yakub, but Masha or Moses was the first one who Yahuwah had revealed his name to. I'm pointing this out because this has a lot to do with what this lesson is about. All right. Now I have a video I want to show you, but one thing that needs to be understood is the ancient Egyptians were pagans. They believed in multiple mighty ones. They were not monotheistic, which is belief in one Alua. Okay, and I'm going to break that down a little bit more. Now, check out this. There were over 2,000 deities in the Egyptian pantheon, many whose names were or are well known, such as, I'm not going to even say these names out loud, but you can just see how many deities they believe in. Okay, so the Most High was about to disprove their pagan belief system. And real quick, let me just show you guys this video that I have prepared here, just showing you a small amount of deities that they do call on and believe in because they were pagans. It's very simple, family. Paganism is belief in more than one deity, all right, or more than one creator. Elizabeth became a YouTube member. Thank you so much, sis. All esteem to the Most High. Yada Yahuwah. Praise Yahuwah. All right, family. Let me just show you this video real quick before we continue. Give me 1 second. All right. So I just have this video here I'm going to show you. It's just a little brief TikTok video talking about these many deities of ancient Egypt. I mean, pretty self-explanatory, right? They believe in multiple deities. That is essentially the point that I'm trying to prove with these Egyptians. And I said that because this is where Yahuwah proving he is the true Alua of all creation comes into play to a nation of people that enslaved his people but were pagans. A lot is going to be proven in that instance, which is why I'm putting emphasis on that. Now, before we continue, I want to just explain monotheism and polytheism, okay? Monotheism is a belief in one Alua, okay? So when you think of like Islam, you think about Christianity, you think about Judaism, they are all monotheistic. Now, keep in mind, they don't serve our Father, they don't serve the Most High, but essentially they believe in one, what you would call God. Okay, polytheism is where you get the Greeks, the Egyptians, the Norse, Hinduism, Wicca, Taoism. That's paganism. Polytheism is essentially paganism, belief in more than one mighty one. Okay, so very, very self-explanatory. Now, keep in mind that our people were so special that they were the only nation on the earth at their time that believed in one creator, one Alua, which is Yahuwah. They did not believe in Aluahim. Aluahim is plural because that means more than one deity. That would fall under polytheism. Okay, ancient Egyptians have Aluahim. Ancient Greeks have Aluahim, so on and so forth. Yasharah had a Alua, one mighty one, one creator. Okay, very self-explanatory. Now, Yahuwah knew that these Egyptians were pagans, and his whole purpose was to prove to the Egyptians he's the only true living Alua, as I said, with all power. And this is why he had hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that his power can be demonstrated through these plagues and these judgments, and through these events, the world would come to know of the Alua of Yasharah. Yahuwah The scriptures prove we were chosen by Yahuwah that the world may know him. Yahuwah wanted the Egyptians to know he's the one who brought these afflictions upon you, that they may fear the Alua of the Abarim, or the Hebrews. So obviously you had all these 10 plagues of Egypt, disease on the livestock. You had the flies, the gnats, the frogs, waters turned to blood, unhealable boils, hail, fire, darkness, locusts, death of the firstborn. All these things were done to prove to these pagans Yahuwah is the true Alua. Not just that, but that he was going to fight for his people, and to prove to his people, I'm here for you. I've seen what they've done. I've heard your troubles. I've heard your groaning. I've heard your crying. I've seen your harsh treatment. But I care, and I'm going to fight for you. And the Most High doesn't change, family. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And how he feels about us, his people, has not changed either. Have faith in him. Have trust in the Most High that he will bring us out of the lands of our captivity. That's a promise. Yada Yahuwah. Hallelujah. Yahuwah. Masha Moses would be that vessel who presented himself on behalf of Yahuwah, the Alua of the Abarim or the Hebrews, by which the power of Yahuwah would be shown. People who say the name of Yahuwah doesn't matter do not at all understand him nor his will. Yahuwah would not ever under the dome call himself God or the name of anybody else's mighty ones. He wanted to distinguish himself from every other mighty one. It's foolish to think God or LRD is a proper name of Yahuwah when regular men call themselves this. Look at that guy on the Breakfast Club, Charlemagne the God. What about the Rothschilds? He calls himself Lord Rothschild. Yahuwah does not share his esteem with anybody. Yashayahu 42:8. Ahaya Yahuwah, I am Yahuwah. That is my name, and my esteem I do not give to another, nor my praise to idols. So when people get mad because I say calling him God is taking his name, is reducing it to nothing, that is essentially taking his name in vain. I'm not taking the Most High's name in vain if I say, God damn it. Taking his name in vain is reducing it to nothingness, to making it useless. His name, Yahuwah, means I am he who exists, I am he who is, and I am he who will be. That's what his name means. There's power in that name. It's the same thing with Yahusha. So when you add the Yasha at the end of Yahu, you get I am he who delivers. I am he who saves. I am he who redeems. I am he who gained the victory. When you call Yahusha Jesus and you call Yahuwah God, you are removing the purpose and power of the Abari tongue behind the name. Every single Abari name has meaning, family. This is why I go so hard for the name. The name matters. Anybody who says it doesn't matter don't know my Father. You don't know him. Period, point blank. Let's keep going. Shout out to Praying for an Elisha. She also joined the membership. Y'all, hey, yada yada. Thank you guys so much, man. I'm so humbled by this. All esteem to the Most High. All right. So we're going to start off in Shemuth, and we're going to start off in verse 7, chapter 7, verse 2 through 9. He says, you shall speak all that I command you. And Aharon, talking to Moses, Aharon or Aaron, your brother, shall speak to Pharaoh to let the children of Yasharal go out of his land, but I'm going to harden the heart of Pharaoh. Once again, this is Most High hardening his heart because he has a lot he's going to prove to this pagan nation. And shall increase my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt, and Pharaoh is not going to listen to you. And I shall lay my hand on Egypt and bring my division and my people, the children of Yasharal, out of the land of Egypt by great judgments. And the Egyptians shall know that I am Yahuwah when I stretch out my hand on Egypt. Then I shall bring the children of Yasharal out from among them. And Masha and Aharon did as Yahuwah commanded them, and so they did. Now Moses or Masha was 80 years old, and Aharon was 88 years old when they spoke to Pharaoh. And Yahuwah spoke to Masha and Aharon, saying, when Pharaoh speaks to you, saying, show us a miracle, then you shall say to Aharon or to Moses, You know what? One more thing, family. This is a side note, but I've noticed a lot of these translations are now saying that Aharon did all the miracles when it was supposed to be Moses. Even when it comes to the parting of the Red Sea, I do believe that there's some stuff going on with the text, with the scribes and things like that. It should not say Aharon that made it become a serpent. It should say Moses, because Yahuwah originally came to Moses and told him, through you will I perform these great feats. So yeah, just a side note. You shall say to Moses, take your rod and throw it before Pharaoh and let it become a serpent. This is Shamuth, or Exodus 9:14-16. For at this time I'm sending all my plagues unto your heart and on your servants and on your people, so that you may know that there is no one like me in all the earth. This is the Most High speaking. Now, if I had stretched out my hand and struck you and your people with pestilence, then you would have been cut off from the earth. And for this reason, I've raised you up in order to show you my power and in order to declare my name in all the earth. So family, the Most High has a purpose in even these pagan nations, these heathen nations, to know who he is and to fear him. Because, I mean, you don't fear him. I mean, boy, woe unto you. Woe unto you. Another thing to consider is Yahuwah was not only demonstrating his power to the pagan Egyptians, but also to his people, Yasharal. You have to understand, for a little over 2 centuries, that's the 200-something years that they were in Egypt, they had been following the ways of Egypt and worshiping their deities. Yahuwah had to show his people as well that he has not forgotten them. And by all strength and power, he would deliver them to the land that he swore to their forefathers. In his power being demonstrated, they would realize he is superior to the Elohim, or deities of the Egyptians, and serve him with one consent. So this wasn't just about proving themselves to the Egyptians, but also to his people. They were under Egyptian captivity for well over 200 years. And so they had fallen into the ways of paganism. So the Most High had to bring out his people by mighty power, even to this day, family. A lot of us, we're waking up to the truth of who we are. We done turned away from Christianity. We done turned away from the deities of the heathens. But there's so many of our people who are the lost sheep of Yasharal who don't know who they are, which is why the Most High is going to, when he brings us out, it's going to have to be by a great power, a great judgment, that they may understand who he is, that they may know that he is their Alua. You know what I'm saying? So I liken a lot of what we will experience in this second Exodus to what our people experienced in the first Exodus. Many plagues came upon the Egyptians because of the Pharaoh's unwillingness to let Yasharal go, and it came down to Yahuwah smiting the firstborn son of Pharaoh, where he finally understood why he should fear Yahuwah. But Yahuwah hardened his heart so that these many instances of his judgments may be known among the nations. And as we keep reading, you're going to hear about these other nations that had heard about what Yahuwah did in Egypt. They heard about how he smote the Canaanites, the Amorites, and how much he was on their side. Always a purpose in what Yahuwah does. This is Shamuth, Exodus 12:29-31. And it came to be at midnight that Yahuwah smote all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, or Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh, who sat on his throne, to the firstborn of the captive who was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of livestock. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not a dead one. Whoo boy, the Most High don't play. Then he called for Mashah and Aharon by night and said, arise, go out from the midst of my people, both you and your children of Yasharal, and go serve Yahuwah as you have said. You see? He thought it was a game. The Most High sending these plagues upon you, saying, let my people go. And you just said, no, I'm not letting them go. And then you lose your son. And now there's a great cry. And now you get the message. But see, this has to be likened to the lands of our captivity, right? Because when the second Exodus happens, I promise you, these nations are not going to just willingly let us get up and leave. And the Most High will have to demonstrate his power against those nations that try to rise up to stop the second Exodus. Whether they want to admit it or not to you guys, Yasharal, they don't want you to leave. They need you. They need us. Okay, we dominate the industry. We dominate music. We dominate entertainment. We dominate sports. We dominate everything that Babylon monetizes. We are the greatest commodity to these nations in which we are held captive. They are not willing to just let us go. And the Most High will demonstrate his power in that day. Yada yada. We also read about the many experiences of Yasharal in the wilderness. We also learn of how the other nations begin to understand Yahuwah, the Eluah of Yasharal, and him fighting for his people in ways they cannot ignore. We will take a look at some examples. Always remember, Yasharal was not the largest nation. It was very small, but their many victories against their enemies only proved there was an invisible Eluah fighting for them that loved them very much. Their power and strength was not of their own. It all came from Yahuwah. I'm going to read some more of these comments before we continue. Give me 1 sec, family. Been seeing the chat's been blowing up over here. Yada yada. All right, let's see here. Elizabeth says, I'm alone in my walk of Amunah or belief. Thank you for your channel. Praise the Most High Yahuwah and his son Yahusha. Beloved, I'm really glad that the Most High led you here. I'm thankful for every single one of you guys that joins these streams every Shabbat. There's a lot of other Israelites out here doing these streams. But when I see you guys pop into the chat to join, I see the respect amongst our people. I see the other nations who cleave that have respect for our people. It's all to the esteem of the Most High. I'm thankful for every single one of you guys here. This is a side note, family, but I had an experience with my mom last night, and it wasn't a good one. We were talking on the phone, and it's just I've mentioned her before, but she just doesn't support anything I do. Like, even when it comes to the Most High, because, she's still in the pagan Christian thing. And it's like, she doesn't see that the Most High is using me, right? Even though she's an Israelite, she's obviously an Israelite. And so I was passionate to tell her about who we are, but she wants to run to the deities of the Christian heathens. And so it's heartbreaking to see all the work I do for the Most High, but she doesn't acknowledge it. But when I come here and I see you guys, I was talking to my girl yesterday, and she's like, you know what, Yexer? She's like, you don't have to worry about your mom. You have people here that appreciate and see what the Most High is using you for. Family, I kid you guys not. I'm closer to you guys than I am my own family members. And I'm thankful to the Most High for that. Not so much that my family doesn't accept the truth, but that there are people that are in this with me. My family online is the greatest thing that the Most High has gifted me in this truth. It's so much harder to deal with this when you're alone. You know what I'm saying? My girl's in this with me, but my family don't know the truth. I'm the only one who does. They're still under these curses. Still, stuck in the gang life, the drugs, took the ouchie from 2020. But I'm thankful for every single one of you guys, man. So, beloved Elizabeth, thank you for joining with us here. We're happy to have you here with us. Praying for Ali Shah says, all Egyptians all over the world were affected. Remember, they were also traveling, exploring. Yes. And also, here's another thing people don't know. The ancient Hamites have been scattered across the four corners of the earth. Not in the same way as us. Because some people be all like, well, I need some proof that the ancient Egyptians were black. Family, they have been scattered. Matter of fact, hold on. I can show you. I got proof. If I'm going to show you a video real quick from my Facebook. Let me go to my Facebook, actually. I'm going to show you proof. Let me come back on the screen real quick. I'm going to show you proof, bro, because I know there's a lie out here. The Egyptians were black, because if they don't, then people are going to be all like, well, how did Messiah and his family hide amongst the Egyptians? if he's a different color than they were? How was Paul mistaken for an Egyptian? How did, Joseph dwell amongst the Egyptians and his brothers not recognize him? So they had to whitewash everything. But family, the ancient Egyptians, hold on a second. Let me see if I can find this post I did. This post I did, family, proves they were black. Let's see. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, family, do I have it? Do I have it? I have an actual video that shows the ancient Egyptians. It shows the same hairstyles. They look just like the people on the wall. Dang. Oh boy. I'm always trying to find stuff. Okay. You know what? I'm going to go to my Instagram because it's definitely on my Instagram. Give me 1 second. I just want to show you guys this real quick. But yes, the ancient Egyptians have been scattered. So they're in ancient Egypt. They don't talk about them much. They don't bring a lot of attention to them. Just like in ancient Israel, or what they call the land of Israel, which is not really Israel. It's really a fraud. But there are indigenous, dark-skinned Arabs that have been there long before these so-called Palestinians you see now, long before the Ish people that are indigenous to that land. They never talk about them in the media, but they are the real people of the book. Okay, look at this, family. Let me share my screen. These are the ancient Egyptians right here. Let me show you. Give me 1 sec. Let me share my screen. Look at this. You see that? Look at the hairstyles. These are the Hamites. These are the descendants of the ancient Egyptians. If you look at the hair, you can clearly see these are the same people. And I said, repost. If the ancient Egyptians were melanated, dark-skinned people, so is Yasharal. You cannot hide a white baby Messiah in Egypt. Paul was mistaken for an Egyptian. Joseph ruled Egypt and not recognized by his brothers, and Moses taken in by Pharaoh. The ancient Egyptians were melanated. Are they Negroes? No, they're Hamites. But you can clearly see how, if they're black, clearly the Israelites would be black. It's very simple. But this is what they're hiding from you. No, those people you see in modern day Egypt now are not Egyptians. They are Turkic people, Turkic Mongoloids. All right, let's keep reading. I'd rather be lonely than dead in the pit. Yeah, that's truth, family. It's in the scriptures. Egypt would be scattered too. Exactly, sis. They have been scattered. They have been scattered. And believe it or not, I know some people be all like, oh, the nations that oppress us is going to be judged. Them Egyptians got a judgment coming too. That's what I'm saying. It's melanated nations that did evil to us as well. People need to see the truth that you are Yahuwah's children and not the other nations. You know what, sis? They don't want to see it because the evidence is really overwhelming. Who we are is overwhelming, family, but they don't want to see the truth. And woe unto them, because what people fail to realize is they have to cleave to us for their survival. And that's the truth, because we're going to know about the second Exodus before these nations. We're going to know when the Most High, he's going to come to us first. So if you don't want to cleave, that's on you. To the nations that don't want nothing to do with us and want to cleave to the Revelation 2939s, good luck with that, because they want to enslave you. But, people don't want to accept it, bro. Our redemption does not require validation from these other nations. We have a beautiful future coming for us that the Most High has planned. So if they don't want to accept us, they don't have to be a part of it. You want to choose destruction? You want to choose going into the hands of the Sabians and being sold into slavery? Hey, by all means, you're totally welcome to that if that's the choice you want. But I don't know why anybody in their right mind would choose that. Maurice Moshe says, many Hamites have migrated or scattered to the Americas. The white Indians with bones in their noses proof. Yes, that's another thing, family. These so-called indigenous Americans are Hamites. They are not Yasharal. I keep on telling people that. They don't want to hear it. I will keep on saying it until the day Yahusha comes back. They are Hamites. They are descendants of the ancient Egyptians. Why do you think you don't see them with beards? Because our people have beards. Look at the depictions of them in ancient Assyria, ancient Babylon. They were bearded men being carried away. Most natives do not grow beards genetically because they're another nation. Listen, the Negroes and the Israelites are not the same people. And real quick, I'm going to prove that. I have a TikTok video I'm going to show you guys real quick. The Israelites and the Negroes are not the same people. I'm sorry. The Israelites and the Hamites, I'm talking too fast, are not the same people, family. They are not the same people. People like to lump us in with the Africans. Listen, we are not Hamites. And I'm going to show you. I have a video here I'm going to show you. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. This is on my Facebook, and I posted this. And when you even going down to our skull structure, it is very, very different from the Hamites. Okay? The Most High made us very unique. If you haven't understood that, I have videos on that. But let me show you. I'm going to show you this video from my Facebook to prove some things. Give me 1 second. I know I posted this recently. Hold on. I'll be having so many posts on my Facebook, family. I'm trying to find it. Give me 1 second here. Two different people. Dang, man. Where is it? Oh, I can't find it. I got so many posts on here, family. I'll be trying to find. Ah, there it is. Wonderful. Yada Yahuwah. Praise Yahuwah. All right, family, check this out. This is a short little TikTok video, but it proves that we are very different from these Hamites. Take a look. Share my screen. Facebook. Boom. Now let's see what it says. Let me start this over. Put the music, put the volume on.
Race and skin color are really a red herring. Okay, it's a kind of divisive lie that's been put about, and I'm going to go into this a bit more in detail. But to separate people by perceived race is a distraction. Okay, so we all think that all black people are the same, basically, but they're not. Africans and Negroes are different. They have a different skeletal structure, different skull shape, and one interesting thing is African people, real Africans, cannot grow hair like Negroes can. So,
did y'all hear that? They can't grow hair like we do. Have you noticed that you see us Israelite men with full-on beards, bro? Do you see these so-called, African, these Hamites? Do you see them with beards? No. Did you see the ancient Egyptians with beards? No. We are two different people. We are even the way their hair texture is. You've noticed the daughters of Zion, for example, when they grow out their hair, they grow it out. It's long. You think of Lauryn Hill, just beautiful, dreaded, long, beautiful Negroid hair. But even when you look at some of the Africans, their hair doesn't grow nearly as long as the daughters of Zion. They're clearly two different people. But keep listening.
African men cannot grow beards. All right. African women cannot grow afros.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it's a very powerful thing. If you see real African women, you'll see that they've always got very, very short hair. Because literally they can't grow it.
They can't grow it. Bro, we are not the same people as them. Now, these conservatives who don't know who we are, these evangelicals that say, blacks sold blacks into slavery, family, that's not what happened. Okay, the Hamites sold us to the Europeans. Why did they do that? Because we were more structured than them. Because they were more tribal. Our people, way more structured than them. And I'm going to show you one more post before we continue to substantiate this, because it does tie to what I'm saying. But you can see even this other guy from this other nation is telling you that this whole skin color thing is a cop-out. Just because I'm melanated doesn't mean that I'm a Hamite. Look, I'm going to show you guys one more thing before we continue on. Look at this. I did this post yesterday. Let me scroll back up. Whoops. Up. I lost my place. My bad, y'all. Where'd it go? Oh, no, I lost my place. Oh, Father in heaven. Hold on, y'all. I literally lost my place. I don't know what happened. Oh, crap. That ain't good. Let me just go back to my page here. My bad, y'all. I don't know what happened. I literally just scrolled up and then I lost it. But I posted it yesterday, so I still have it here. Where is it? Okay, it's right down here. Okay, here we go. The Yahudim were a very structured people that built whole civilizations such as Songhai Empire, Timbuktu. Everything you were told about so-called black people is a lie. This is exactly why the Hamitic indigenous black Africans didn't like us and worked with the Europeans to capture us. They were jealous of how structured we were and the many skills we had. The Europeans went to a specific place in West Africa called Negro Land, as we've discussed many times, also known as the Kingdom of Judah, to grab the Yahudim. They had no interest in the indigenous Hamitic people. People say, oh, well, it's about color. If it's about color, then why did they go to that specific place? And why did they not enslave these Hamitic people? They knew who they were picking up. They wanted Yahudah. And chances are they had read Dabarim or Deuteronomy 28 and said, these people are supposed to be slaves. Don't worry about it. They're cursed. And I would venture to say they probably were directly connected to the Romans that destroyed the temple in 70 AD. Negroes did not sell their own into slavery. The Hamites sold the Israelites to Europeans. Big difference. The Yahudim were kings, stonemasons, blacksmiths, musicians. Some were bilingual and had many different skills. They told you we were savages, but we were way more structured than the Europeans. That's why they made us conform to their culture. I highly suggest reading books prior to the 16th century. And it says, when Caucasians first went into Africa, they did not find a bunch of savages living in the jungles or bushes. They found a highly advanced culture. That is straight on facts upon facts. We were way more structured than they give us credit for. And they may not want to, but, you know, it doesn't matter. We know the truth. Ahavaya. Hey, sis, Shabbat Shalom. Good to see you. All esteem to the Most High. Yes, family, hit the like button. Hit that like button. Please hit that like button. All right, family. Barbara Knight says, I feel the same. I'd rather be lonely also than the pit. Salvation is the most important thing in my life. Facts. And like I said, family, I don't feel alone because I have y'all. Y'all make this walk so much more worth it just to be here with you guys every Shabbat, you know, esteeming the Most High together, sharing information, doing all these beautiful things on behalf of our Father Yahuwah. So I'm thankful for every one of you guys, man. Thank you guys so much. All right. Okay, family, we're going to get back to this lesson. I know sometimes we kind of just talk and we just be getting on different things, but we're going to get back to this lesson. So let's jump into it. Let me share my screen and we'll get back to this thing. All right. So as I said, the Most High fought for his people when we came against the Canaanites, the Amorites, the Jebusites, and every other nation, the Philistines, everybody else. It was all Yahuwah helping to fight against our enemies. And they were realizing that this small nation being able to prevail against these nations that were bigger, obviously there's someone that they can't physically see with their eyes that's fighting for them. And that is Yahuwah fighting for his people. Yada Yahuwah. This is Deuteronomy or Dabarim 7:6-8. For you are a Kadash people to Yahuwah, your Aluah. Your Aluah has chosen you to be a people for himself, a Sagalah, treasured possession above all the peoples on the face of the earth. Yahuwah did not set his love on you, nor choose you because you were numerous than any other people. For you were the least of all peoples. So we were the least of every nation around us. But because of Yahuwah loving you, and because of him guarding the oath or the barith, the covenant which he swore to your fathers, Yahuwah has brought you out with a strong hand and redeemed you from the house of bondage, from the hands of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. This is Yahusha or Joshua 2:7-13. And the men pursued them by the way to the Yarden, to the fords. This is right around the time of Jericho. or Yariku, okay? Just for context. And they shut the gate afterwards as soon as the pursuers had gone out, and before they lay down, she came up to them on the roof, and she said to the men, I know, this is, I believe this is Rahab. I know that Yahuwah has given you the land, and that the fear of you has fallen on us, and all the inhabitants of the land melt away because of you. For we have heard how Yahuwah dried up the water of the Sea of Reeds. Remember how Masha parted the water? Yeah, they heard about it. For when you came out of Egypt, and what you did to the two kings of the Amorites, who were beyond the Yarden, and Shechem and Og, who you put under the ban. And when we heard, our hearts melted, and there was no ruach left in anyone because of you. For Yahuwah, your Alua, he is the Alua in the Shamayim above and on earth beneath. So you can see in this example, family, these other nations are hearing about what Yahuwah is doing for his people. And it's making them come to this understanding. We need to fear him. We need to fear your Alua, because he is clearly on your side and he is fighting for you. He's doing things that we cannot explain, that our mighty ones can't do. And this is what's going to happen to the nations to this day who do not believe. He will show them through us his power. Yada Yahuwah. Hallelujah. All esteem to the Most High. Father, thank you for choosing us, your people. We honor you, Father. We esteem your name. Hallelujah. And now please swear to me by Yahuwah, since I've shown you kindness, that you also show kindness to my father's house and shall give me a true mark. So because of what she heard about what Yahuwah did through his people to these other nations, they were afraid of Yasharal. They were afraid of us, and they were also afraid of our Alua because they heard of what he had done. And so they were like, she's like, please don't hurt my family. Okay, we've been nice to you. Please don't hurt us. The word of what Yahuwah did had got around to the other nations, and they were realizing that the Alua of Yasharal is not nobody to play with, nor his people. And you shall spare my father and my mother and my brothers and my sisters and all that they have, and shall deliver our lives from death. So this is her pleading with them. We heard that Yahuwah gave you this land. We don't want any problems. We understand what he's done. We don't want problems. Please just spare my family, spare my dad, spare my mother, my brothers, my sisters, all they have. Don't rob us. Don't take nothing from us, because she thought that the Most High was going to have us overtake her and her family like we did these other nations. But this right here illustrates to you guys the purpose of being chosen. Yahuwah using us to demonstrate to the nations who he is. Yada Yahuwah. Now, moving on. If you understand Jacob, he had 12 sons. That's obviously the 12 tribes of Yasharal. But he also had a little girl. Her name was Dinah. One of the sons of the surrounding nations, Shechem, had violated her, and Jacob's sons went and destroyed the inhabitants of the land of Shechem or Shechem. Many other nations joined against them, but they soon realized they could not overpower Yasharal because Yahuwah was fighting for them, and they could not prevail. Let's read Yashar or Jasher, chapter 36. So this is also mentioned in Genesis, but I prefer Jasher because it gives so much more context to how these nations are just like, we are not going to win against them. Their father is fighting for them. Let's take a look. This is Jasher 35, 1 through 25. And all the kings of the Amorites came and took their stand in the field to consult with their counselors what was to be done with the sons of Jacob, for they were still afraid of them, saying, behold, 2 of them slew the whole city of Shechem or Shechem. So 2 of them. It was Yahudah, and I believe, I got to go back and read, but I believe it was Yahudah and Zebulon, if I'm not mistaken, because Yahudah, that's our people. We were warriors. You know what I'm saying? So whenever it comes to some butt whooping, it's going to be Yahudah that's going to lead it. And there will come a time where the Most High will call on us to get some of these nations. That's written. You know what I'm saying? So it was Yahudah, and it was, I believe it was Zebulon. I could be wrong about that. Correct me if I'm wrong about this, family. But I believe it was Yahudah, and I know Yahudah was one of them. Now, keep in mind, family, that Shechem had violated Dinah, who is Yahudah and the 12 sons. That's her little sister. What Jacob's and his sons did is when Shechem came to them and said, I want to take this girl for a wife because I done did what I did to her, they basically deceitfully said, okay, fine. You want to take her for a wife? You want to be part of our people? Be one with our people? You need to get circumcised. That's the way of our Alua. You need to get circumcised. And so they said, okay, fine, we'll do it. Yahudah. They waited until that night when they went to go get circumcised. They were still in pain. Yahudah and his brother went in there and slew every single one of them. I think they spared the women and the children, but the men got slain. That's what this is talking about. And Yahudah heard the prayers of Isaac and Jacob, and he filled the hearts of these kings' advisors with great fear and terror, that they unanimously exclaimed, are you silly this day? Or is there no understanding in you that you will fight with the Abarim or the Hebrews? And why will you take delight in your own destruction to this day? So not only had Isaac and Jacob been praying for the sons of Jacob, but the Most High heard their prayers. And not only that, but he instilled fear in these nations to where they came to their senses like, we're not going to prevail against them. Behold, two of them came to the city of Shechem without fear or terror, and they killed all the inhabitants of the city, that no man stood up against them. And how will you be able to fight with them all? So two sons of Jacob killed or massacred a whole city because of what they did to Dinah. Obviously, the Most High was on their side. But as we keep reading, we understand that a little bit more. Surely you know that their Alua is exceedingly fond of them and has done mighty things for them, such has not been done from the days of old, and amongst all the Elohim of nations, that is none can do like unto his mighty deeds. You see that? These nations are realizing the Most High is the only true Alua. Surely he delivered their father Abraham, the Abari or Hebrew, from the hand of Nimrod, and from the hand of all his people who had many times sought to slay him. He delivered them also from the fire in which King Nimrod had cast him, and his Alua delivered him from it. And who else can do the like? Surely it was Abraham who slew the 5 kings of Elam when they touched his brother's son, who in those days dwelt in Sodom. Remember that? Lot, remember? Yeah. And took his servant that was faithful in his house and a few of his men, and they pursued the kings of Elam in one night and killed them, and restored to his brother's son all his property which they had taken from him. And surely you know the Alua of these Abarim or Hebrews is much delighted with them, and they are also delighted with him, for they know that he delivered them from all their enemies. And behold, through his love towards his Alua, Abraham took his only and precious son and intended to bring him up as a burnt offering to his Alua. And had it not been for Alua who prevented from doing this, he would have done it through his love to his Alua. Do you guys see what the other nations are exclaiming? Do you see the message that we have to gain from even what these heathens are saying? The first point to understand is the Most High loves us. He's going to fight for us, period, point blank. Number 2, we have to walk in that love that we know that he has for him or for us, to be faithful and trustworthy on this responsibility we have as being the chosen people of the Most High. He will fight for us. He will do great things through us. But these things will not happen if we are not obedient to the Most High. Okay? 12. And Eluah saw all his works and swore unto him and promised him that he would deliver his sons and all his seed from every trouble that would befall him, because he had done this thing, and through his love to his Eluah stifled his compassion for his child. And have you not heard what their Eluah did to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and to Abalak, king of Gerar, through taking Abiram's wife, who said of her, she's my sister, lest they might slay him on account of her, and think of taking her for a wife. And Eluah did unto them and their people all that you heard of. Behold, we ourselves saw with our eyes that Esau, the brother of Jacob, came to him with 400 men. These were the Horites, the cave dwellers, that came with Esau to try to kill Jacob, with the intention of slaying him. For he called to mind that he had taken away from him his father's blessing. And he went to meet him when he came from Syria to smite the mother with the children, and who delivered from his hands but his Eluah, in whom he trusted. He delivered him from the hand of his brother, and also from the hands of his enemies, and surely he again will protect them. Who does not know that it was their Eluah who inspired them with the strength to do to the town of Shechem the evil for which you have heard? Could it then be with their strength that 2 men could destroy such a large city as Shechem, had it not been for their Eluah in whom they trusted? He said and did unto them all this day to slay the inhabitants of the city in their city. And can you then prevail over them, and have come together from your city to fight with the whole of them, even if 1,000 times as many more should come to your assistance? So no matter how many nations, how many more men would join in battle against the sons of Jacob, they wouldn't prevail. There were 12 sons of Jacob. These nations came against them with over 1,000 men, and they could not win against these 12 boys. The Most High was fighting for us, and they are realizing that. And they're like, bro, it doesn't matter what we do. The Most High is with them. We're not going to win. This is what Yahuwah was revealing to the nations. This is what he wanted them to see. Hold on a minute, family. I just realized that I wasn't even full screen. That irritates me so much. Hold on, family. Let me full screen this. My bad. Okay. All right, let's continue. Surely you understand that you do not come to fight with them, but you come to war with their Eluah, who made choice of them, and you have therefore all come this day to be destroyed. This is why Yahuwah says, you touch my chosen people, you touch the apple of my eye. If they mess with you, Yasharah, they're messing with him. Now therefore refrain from this evil which you are endeavoring to bring upon yourselves, and it'd be better for you to not go to battle with them, although they are but few in numbers, because their Eluah is with them. And when the kings of the Amorites heard all the words of their advisors, their hearts were filled with terror, and they were afraid of the sons of Jacob, and they would not fight against them. They inclined their ears to the words of their advisors and listened to all their words, and the words of the counselors greatly pleased the kings, and they did so. And the kings turned and refrained from the sons of Jacob, for they durst not approach them to make war with them, for they are greatly afraid of them, and their hearts melted with them from fear of them. For this proceeded from Yahuwah to them, for he heard the prayers of his servants Isaac and Jacob, for they trusted in him. And all these kings returned with their camps on that day, each to his own city, and they did not at that time fight with the sons of Jacob. And the sons of Jacob kept their station that day till evening opposite Mount Shihon. And seeing that these kings did not come to fight against them, the sons of Jacob returned home. This is why our trust and our belief in the Most High has to mimic what Isaac and Jacob had, what Yasharal had. When the Most High came to his people and he said, I will fight for you, I'm on your side, I will give your enemies into your hands, we have to trust what his word says as his people. He is not going to forsake us. You will notice in these passages that the other nations are recalling all these different experiences that have happened with Yahuwah and his people, Yasharal. The nations have come to understand that the Eluah of the Abarim, or the Hebrews, is real, and they cannot prevail against his people. This is even true to this day. The nations hate us because they fear our Eluah. It's just that simple. Yahuwah clearly chose us to help the other nations to know who he is, For we are not just a nation of people, but a nation of priests before the Most High, Yahuwah. This is Dabarim, Deuteronomy 14:2. For you are a Kadash people to Yahuwah, your Alua. Yahuwah has Bakir, chosen you to be a people for himself, a treasured possession above all people who are on the face of the earth. We read that. Kafar Rishun, 1 Peter 2:9. But you are a Bakir, a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a Kadash nation, a people for a possession, that you should proclaim the praises of him, Yahuwah, who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Mashim, or Acts 9:15. But the master said to him, go, for he is a Bakir, chosen vessel of mine, to bear my name before nations, sovereigns, and the children of Yasharal. That's talking about Paul, obviously. Verse 16, for I shall show him how much he has to suffer for my name. Hallelujah. Rumaim, or Romans 11:25-27. For I do not wish you to be ignorant of this secret, brothers, lest you should be wise in your own estimation, that hardening in part has come over Yasharal until the completeness of the Gentiles has come in. And so shall all Yasharal shall be saved. As has been written, the deliverer shall come out of Zion, or Zion, and he shall turn away the wickedness from Jacob. And this is my barith, or covenant with them, and when I take away their sin. So you see that. Let's pay attention to that again. Until the completeness or the fullness of the Gentiles has come in. So there are obviously Gentiles that the Most High has chosen that he is going to allow into the nation, that will obviously be given an inheritance, as we discussed many times on this channel, is that there are Gentiles who will cleave, that have been given a heart by the Most High to cleave to his people. But it says until the fullness of those chosen Gentiles that the Most High is willing to accept to his people, that have no hatred towards his people. This is why we have to preach the Bashur to all nations. Until the fullness of the Gentiles come in, we gonna still be here in captivity. I'm ready to go home, family. I'm ready to go back to the land. We gotta keep preaching the Bashura to the nations. It is what it is. And to those who don't want to accept it, Yahusha said, dust off your feet. All right. This is Jubilees 22:9-10. My Alua, may your kasad and your shalom be upon your servant, and upon the seat of his throne and his sons, upon the seat of his sons, that they may be a Bakir, chosen nation, an inheritance from amongst all the nations of the earth, from henceforth until all the days of the generations of Aharats, or the earth, until all the ages. And he called Jacob and said, my son Jacob, may Ha-Alua, the Alua of all, bless you and strengthen you to do Zarakah, righteousness, and his will before him. And he may choose you and your seed, that you may become a people for his inheritance, according to his will. Always. We must always be about the Father's will, family. Yada yada. And we're almost done, family. I'm going to get into the comments. Now, this is King Shalomah, Solomon. This is Malachim Rishon, 1 Kings 8:41-44. Moreover, concerning the stranger or the Gentile, this is the words of King Solomon, that is not of your people, Yasharal, but comes out of a far country for your name's sake. For they shall hear of your great name, and of your strong hand, and of your stretched out arm. When he shall come and pray towards his house, hear you in heaven, your dwelling place, and do according to all that the stranger calls to you for, that all people of the earth may know your name, to fear you as do your people Yasharal. And that they may know that this house which I have built is called by your name. If your people go out to battle against their enemy, whichsoever you shall send them, and shall pray unto Yahuwah toward the city which you have chosen, and towards the house that I have built for your name. So even King Shalomah is saying that it is his desire for the stranger, the Gentile, those who cleave to Yasharal, who are not of his people of the bloodline, who come from a far country, but that they shall hear of the Most High's name, know of his power, and understand who he is, that they may fear him. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Even Shalomah was coming to the Most High and saying that the stranger, the other nations that are not of my people, may know of Yahuwah, may know of his great name, may know of his power, may know that he set this temple in his name for the people he made a covenant with. That's powerful, family. Yada Yahuwah. Also remember that Yahushua the Messiah has sent us to not just to bring the Bashura to the other nations to know Yahuwah, but also those of our own flesh and blood, the lost sheep of Yasharah. Yes, we are called to help the nations know, but there's a lot of lost sheep out here, Yasharah. Don't you forget about your brothers and sisters in Yahuwah, Yahusha, who are of your nation. Don't forget about them, okay? They need to hear the Bashura of Yahuwah, Yahusha, which is why I say when it comes to my mom and my family members, I mean, they keep on rejecting what I'm saying, but I'm going to keep on praying, posting the truth in hopes maybe they'll get to that point. Mathath Yahu 10, 5-8. These 12 Talmudim, Yahusha sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the other nations, and into any of the city of Shamarum enter you not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Yasharal. So Yahusha was telling his disciples, we need to deal with our people first. We need to go to the lost sheep of Yasharah. This is exactly why Yahusha said, I was not sent but to lost sheep of Yasharah, because there was someone already appointed to go to the Gentiles, who was Paul. But Yahusha was sent to us to redeem us back to the Most High, to redeem us back to the covenant. That is why he was sent. The Most High is always going to come for Yasharah first. We will always be put the priority first because we are his people. And we have fallen so far away from the ways of the Most High, so far away from the covenant. He had to send Yahusha to get us to come back to the covenant. And obviously, some of our people accepted him and a lot of them did not. Which is why it's even worse that I see so many of our people still rejecting Yahusha to this very day. It's just terrible. Let me give a shout out to Kim Yali is in the building. Shalom, sis. Praise Yahuwah. Another member. Hallelujah, Yahuwah. Shabbat shalom, sis. Much love to you. Praise Yahuwah. Shiloh Yah says, I need to be in the wilderness already. Trust me, sis. We are all trying to get up out of here. We are all trying to get up out of here. Yah Daughter 57 is in the building. This is our other moderator. Thank you so much for joining the membership, sis. Thank you so much. Yada Yahuwah. Yes, please hit the like button, family. If you're enjoying the stream, please hit the like button. All praises to the Most High Yahuwah. But the Most High had appointed Paul to minister to the other nations, because you got to understand there were two audiences that Paul was dealing with. Okay, you had the Hellenized Israelites that were following the ways of the pagans, but then you had the actual other nations of pagans. There were two audiences that Paul was speaking to. Okay, so you had our people that were that became pagan-like, and then you had the people who were actually pagans. Okay, but who Yahusha was talking to and sending us to were those amongst his people in the land of Yahud or Judea that have fallen away from the covenants. Verse 7, and as ye go, saying the kingdom of heaven is at hand, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils, freely you have received, freely you shall give. Remember that Yahushua the Messiah has sent us to bring the good news to the other nations, but also to the lost sheep of Yasharah. We must become a fisher of men. We have an obligation to help the lost sheep of Yasharah to come back to Yahuwah. And this is what our work is here. We're also here for the other nations to help them understand the importance of the covenant, but we also have to help awaken these dry bones that Ezekiel 37, we're seeing it take place right now, but it has not fully come into fulfillment because there's still more work we have to do on behalf of the lost sheep of Yasharah who are still in pagan Christianity, who are still in Islam, who are still in Judaism and these religions that have not come out of these religions and into relationship with our Father, who do not know King Yahusha. We have to help our people come back to the Most High, okay? Yahusha will restore us as a nation again upon his return. But until that time, we must continue to help awaken our people and be a priest to the other nations. Mark 1, 17 through 18, Yahusha said, "Come ye after me, and I will make you become fishers of men." And straightway they forsook their nets and followed him. We must be fishers of men, family. The message is simple. This is part of being chosen. Yada Yahuwah. Abba Yahuwah has Gentiles he selected that will be spared from his wrath and given an inheritance in the kingdom, that will accept their position as the servants and handmaids to Yasharal by their acceptance of Hamashiach Yahusha. Do not waste your time with Gentiles who reject you. Not everyone will accept you. Being the chosen of the Most High doesn't require validation from your enemies. But to the nations that do, instruct them in the ways of Torah, because they will need guidance on understanding the true Abari Hebrew ways. And of course, they will need to cleave. So to the nations that hear your voice, Yasharal, make sure you're teaching them the ways of the Most High. Teach them the ways of Torah. Teach them the ways of Messiah. Teach them the problems with Christianity, the lawlessness, the pagan holidays. Teach them the upright ways that our Father gave to our ancestors. Okay? Being the chosen of Yahuwah is a huge responsibility, and we must make sure we are always about his will over our own. I can't say that enough. The moment we put the focus on ourselves and not him, we are doing a great disservice to our calling. He will hold Yasharal to a much higher standard, and if we are not careful, we can experience his wrath as well because of the disobedience of our ancestors. We have a lot to prove to the Most High. Now, just to prove something, I'm going to bring this out, because we, as the people of Yahuwah, doesn't mean we will not also be spared of his wrath because we're his people. And I'm going to prove that with a few scriptures here. This is why being chosen is no small thing. Yakaza call Ezekiel 20, 36 through 38. Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness in the land of Egypt, so I will plead with you, says Yahuwah. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant, or the barith. And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter the land of Yasharal, and they shall know I am Yahuwah. So the Most High is talking about judging the unrepentant, wicked Israelites in the wilderness. This is not a game, family. We have to repent too. I keep on saying that. It is the truth. Zechariah 13, 7 through 9. Awake, O sword, against my shepherd and against the man that is my fellow, says Yahuwah Sabaoth. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered, and I will turn my hand upon the little ones, and it shall come to pass that in that land, says Yahuwah, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, or 2/3 shall be cut off and die of Yasharal. But the third shall be left therein. This is the righteous Israelites. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and I will refine them as silver is refined, and I will try them as gold is tried, and they shall call upon my name, and I will hear them, and I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, Yahuwah Aluah. So there are 2/3 that will be cut off, that are of the bloodline of Yasharal. To all of our people in this stream right now watching this, make sure you are not of these 2/3. And unfortunately, family, we talked about the camps before. I feel like a lot of them are traversing towards this 2/3. And that's not good. The marriages that are unlawful, the bickering amongst our people, the divisive rhetoric, rejection of Mashiach. There's a lot of things that our people are doing that's not okay to the Most High. And they never bring out these scriptures that say that we can be judged too. We can be judged. And it is my will that our own flesh and blood, our own people do not have to experience the wrath of the Most High. It's just like Paul. He said, it is my desire that my own flesh and blood be saved. I stand with Paul in that regard. I don't want our people to be on the receiving end of the Most High's wrath. But unfortunately, because there are wheats among the tares, people are giving to strange doctrine. Don't let that be you, my people. Don't let that be you. We are the chosen people of Yahuwah, but our ultimate purpose is to lead as many nations to grab a hold of this covenant as possible. Do Yahusha the Messiah. Do not slack on this responsibility. Yahuwah said, until the fullness of the Gentiles come in, we shall not be delivered. If the nations choose to cleave, let them cleave to you. It is written, do not turn them away. But cleaving means acknowledging our people as the chosen of Yahuwah. So a person truly cleaves when they acknowledge we are the people of the book. And this is confirmed by Zechariah or Zechariah 8:23. Thus says Yahuwah Sabaoth, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations and shall take a hold of him that is a Yahudi, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that Allah is with you. So it is written that the nations will realize that this Yahudi right here, that Yahudi Yexer, that Yahudi Ak over there, that Yahudi Akuti, those are Yahuwah's people. We need to cleave to them because the Most High is with them. And this all connects to what we read earlier. The nations begin to realize the Most High was with his people. Period. And that's it, y'all. That's the lesson. That concludes our story for today. I hope our purpose as the chosen has been made clear in this presentation. Yada yada, family. Thank you guys so much for joining. I'm going to just jump into the chat and check out some of these comments. Elizabeth says, again, I'm learning so much here. Grateful for your strength to praise Yahuwah name. Thank you for this channel. Yada Yahuwah, praise Yahuwah. All esteem to the Most High. Thank you, sis. Baby hair started with men. MJ got noticed they were forming femininity in men, setting U.S. up to accept feminine behaviors amongst our men to bring on their trans agenda. Absolutely. Michael Jackson, Cat Williams said it best, bro. He forgot he was a nigga. Pardon my French, but I got to just say it the way it is. I don't believe he had what he said he had. This vitiligo thing. It just seems so weird. You know what I'm saying? That he went from, he was insecure about the way he looked. All right. He was very insecure about the way he looked. His dad said some things about how he looked. And, you know, it's deeper than people realize. But Michael Jackson had a very androgynous appearance. You know, you saw feminine characteristics, but you also saw male characteristics. And that is honestly the agenda that we see today. And that's connected to the heathens because the heathens had male and female deities that were, you know, an example of the feminine and the masculine. That's paganism 100%. All right, let me keep reading the comments. Hold on, let me read some more people here. Their holidays are holidays. Absolutely. Facts, we are the Lion King. We are Yuna. We are Lazarus. Facts. Hold on, family. I'm just reading some of your comments here. Michael Jackson was Jehovah's Witness. I grew up in that religion, and it break you honestly. Yeah, I mean, I could imagine it does. I mean, Jehovah's Witnesses, the whole way that they do stuff never really sat right with me. Just how they do stuff and their doctrine and how they approach people just never sat right with me at all as a person. Kim Yali says he didn't. It was part of the Hollywood contract. Yeah, absolutely. Because you got to understand something. What if a black man with an afro, with Negroid features, who's clearly a Negro, that's how he always looked, out of nowhere, just boom, ends up appearing more to be, one, androgynous, and two, having stringy Caucasoid type of features. His Negro features were completely eviscerated. They did not want a Negroid black man to be dominating the charts looking the way he did. I believe they worked against him to whitewash him and white him out. That is the because it started with what happened with him with Pepsi. You know what I'm saying? Remember when his hair caught fire? That was another humiliation ritual, by the way. People don't like talking about that. Marquis says, even if MJ had vitiligo, his children should have still had some type of melanin from those genetics. Sis, those were not his children. Those were not, listen, maybe his adopted children. Okay, I'll go with that. But those were not his children that came from his seed. Okay, we're talking about a Negro here that laid with a woman that's from another nation, and you had two blue-eyed, blonde-haired children. That makes no sense. He is a Negro. No matter what he did to his skin, no matter what surgeries he had, he is a Negro. He is a Yahudi. And you mean to tell me there's no melanin in his children? Yeah, those are some test tube babies, for real, for real. I mean, that's honestly what I believe. Some people might disagree, but, just saying. He's definitely not the father. All Hollywood has a certain Hollywood contract individualized to each other's actors and actresses. Look at them. They go in dark skin, end up being real light skin for haters. Yeah, I mean, look at Megan Good, bro. I talked about her before, where she was one of my major crushes, bro, back in the day. I loved her since the ice cream truck scene in Friday. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like people are realizing these actresses really, they have to lighten their skin in order to even get certain roles, or if you are, a darker skinned individual, there is colorism out here in this world. Like I've seen this girl, bro, on TikTok, beautiful melanated queen. I mean, her melanin was popping, bro. Her melanin was popping. And I just saw all these wicked messages under her post, just saying these most evil things to her. And I'm like, y'all don't see how beautiful this girl is. I'm gonna show you her right now. I mean, just that melanin is just beautiful. I'm gonna show you her real quick, but I'm gonna mute the music though, because it's just, it's I don't want to get a copyright, but I'm just gonna show y'all this real quick. Let me mute the tab. This is her right here. Look at her. Beautiful. Beautiful. But the comment section ain't it. The comment section is not it. That's her right there. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, melanated Kenyan woman. Absolutely gorgeous. But the comment section says differently. The comment section has said things about her that bother my ruach. Because the thing is, it used to be the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. But what has happened is the Edomite media has pushed a different narrative. And I'm not saying that, light-skinned daughters of Zion are not beautiful, because they are. I think all daughters of Zion are beautiful because black comes in all different shades, right? Melanin comes in all different shades. But whenever we start prioritizing the light-skinned woman over the beautiful dark-skinned woman, we have a problem. Anytime you have light skin versus dark skin, we have a problem. Sour cream, I mean, it's really just sour cream supremacy at work. Ultimately, there's nothing wrong with the way that girl looks, honestly. And, honestly, family, this summer, I'm glad, spring is right around the corner, because I will definitely be trying to, get a little bit more melanin going on. You know what I'm saying? I remember, and I lived in Vegas a couple years ago, and I had to work outside, bro. My complexion got so dark, bro, and I was loving it. And then I came over to where I'm at now, and it was colder. And so that dark complexion that I had kind of just went away. You know what I'm saying? But all esteem to the Most High. Raymond says, I'm black but comely, O ye daughters of Yerushalayim. Yes, indeed. Yada Yahuwah. Praise Yahuwah. So, you know, we got to stop letting these other nations get in our minds and make us hate ourselves. The colorism needs to stop. This whole light skin versus dark skin stuff is foolishness. It's just another bout of sour cream supremacy we are dealing with. Talisha says, I'm sorry. She says, I feel stronger in the sunlight. I can feel it physically. Yes. It's a beautiful thing, bro. Like, just to be able to go out in the sun and just vibe. You know what I'm saying? And just be out in the sun. And we are, you know, melanin is a blessing from the Most High. You know what I'm saying? It absolutely would have to be, because when you really think about it, we talked about this in the Israelite video that I did, right? The uniqueness of the Israelite woman and the Israelite man. And we showed you how the people that were using sunscreen were using artificial melanin, right? But the Most High gave us this melanin that has these built-in sunscreen in itself, where we don't need these products made by men. We don't need these things that they might need. And that's not to shame them or anything, but it's just clearly, if we're talking about people working in slavery in the desert for 200 plus years, they would have to be melanated. In order for them to wander the desert wilderness for 40 years, they would have to be melanated. The Most High gave us the land that we were in because we would be able to dwell in it based off the way that he created us. When you read the book of Jasher, it tells you about how Japheth was given the land of the cold. Ham was given the land of hot. And Shem or Sham was given the land of neither hot nor cold. There was a mix. But it wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold. The Most High knew what he was doing by putting us in the areas he put us in that would be conducive to the way in which he had made us and created us. Markia says they want us to hate our skin and woolly hair that the Most High has gave us, and you have to be out of your mind. That's what I'm saying, Yasharal. This channel has been dedicated to help build our people back up, because we've just been told so much that has been meant to make us hate ourselves. Matter of fact, let me show y'all this real quick. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull this up because I think this is I think this is actually kind of funny. Let's see here. So there was an article I wanted to show you guys about how there is an increase in skin cancer in the so-called land of Israel amongst these rabbits. I'm laughing because they originally were looking to move they were proposing to have the land of so-called Israel in the land of I believe it was Uganda. That was originally the place where they wanted to establish the so-called land of Israel, but they realized that they could not dwell in that land because it was too hot. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up. So, State of Israel proposal. I just want to show you guys the many different places that they proposed the land of Israel to be established, which is why I say there's no way that that is the land. It can't be, because why would they be looking at all these other places? Okay, here we go. This is what we want. Let me open this up in a new tab. Give me 1 sec, family. I just think this is very, very, very interesting. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Okay. All right, take a look at this. Let me share my screen. Look at this. Location proposals for the Ish state. So you got Kenya, East Africa. You had Japan, Madagascar, Britain, Ethiopia, Ararat City. Bro, they don't have all these different places, and 2 of them are in Africa. I mean, what? That's crazy, family. That land is not the land, family. If it was, then why the heck were they looking at all these different places that they would propose it? I mean, China being one of them. And we know why they didn't go to Italy, Ethiopia, or why they did not go to Kenya to propose the land of Israel, the state of Israel. You know why they couldn't? Because they couldn't handle the conditions of this place. But it says there were several proposals for an Ish state in the course of Ish history between the destruction of ancient Yasharal, okay, we know that's Cap, and the founding of modern state of Israel. While some of those who have come into existence, others have never been implemented. The Ish national homeland usually refers to the state of Israel or the land of Israel. Depending on political and religious beliefs, Ish and their supporters, as well as their detractors and anti-you-know-what, have put forth plans for Ish states. So clearly, that is not the land, fam. Now, I'm going to go ahead and open up the panel here for anybody that would like to get in. I'm sure you guys might have some thoughts you want to share. So I'm posting the link, and I'm going to also pin it to the top of the chat, just in case you might want to jump on the panel before we close out the show. Elizabeth says, I'm white. I never put sunscreen on, and when under the skin is very tan. People think I'm another nationality, multiple origins mixed, but I learned we all have black DNA. Well, yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, you know, the first people were black people. So if from those of us who come from Adam, there's definitely melanin somewhere, you know, in that family bloodline. You know, if some of us go back far enough, we'll definitely see the proof. For those who may not appear melanated right now, there had to have been somebody, whether even the Japhites, because I talk about the Europeans were originally dark skinned. So, you know, if you have a lineage of going back to Germany or Europe or anything like that, you could descend from the Moors, who were dark skinned Aboriginal Japhites. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, some people like to say the Japhites are white, but originally the Japhites were black, the Moors. You know what I'm saying? Truthers Protecting Truth says, trying to understand where is Bethlehem, Jericho, Mount Sinai, Mount Olives, and other notable sites in Scripture. So when you go to the Scriptures, family, it says that the land is desolate to this day. Matter of fact, let me show you. I got all this stuff pulled up on Scripture. So I'm going to show you what the Scriptures say, and you tell me if this fits Scripture. The land is in Africa. That I can tell you. That I can tell you 100%. When you read the book of Jubilees, it talks about East Africa. And it just gives so much evidence that it's most likely deeper in Africa. Abraham went south from Egypt deeper into Africa. So give me 1 sec, family. I'm going to pull up this article and I'm going to show you. Somebody just joined the chat. Okay, give me 1 sec, family. I want to just show you this real quick because she's asking. So I got to show the proof. Always got to show the proof. Hold on, man. Israel. Okay. Now, just in case some of you guys may not know, Khazaria, where the Ish people come from, is modern day Ukraine. Just in case you did not know that. It is Ukraine. It is 100% Ukraine. That's why they're getting people to send money over there. That's where them folks came from, but they came from the Caucasus Mountains. Okay, here we go. Let me share my screen. And what up, Ak?
Hey, what's going on, Yux? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, Ak. Man, Shabbat Shalom, family. Good to see you, Ak.
Man, same to you, man. Shabbat Shalom, bro. Glad
Shabbat
to be
Shalom,
on, man.
Aki.
How's everything been, man?
Yeah, I just wanted it's been good. It's been good, Ak. I can't complain. I just wanted to address this sister that was asking about the land. If you don't mind, I'm going to just share my screen real quick, and we're going to go through some of these scripts because I know a lot of our people are trying to figure, they're putting two and two together like, okay, that's not the land, right? They know it's not the land. I mean, why would the Most High allow LGBTQ pride parades and idolatry and all that if that's really his land? It can't be. That land was appointed to the Ish people by the Rothschilds, not the Most High. Now, let me show y'all this real quick. This is my Facebook family. I did a post. Let's take a look at this. So this is what I said, family. I said, I am 100% convinced the land of so-called Israel in modern-day Palestine is a fraud. Let's look at scripture. Okay, so let's look at Jeremiah 6:8. Be instructed, O Jerusalem, lest my soul depart from you. I make you desolate, a land not inhabited. That's Jeremiah 6:8. Now, some people might say, well, that's talking about Babylonian captivity. Let's keep reading. Then I will cause to cease from the cities of Yahudah and from the streets of Jerusalem the voice of mirth and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, for the land shall be desolated. This is Jeremiah 44:6. Wherefore my fury and my anger was poured forth and was kindled in the cities of Yahudah and the streets of Jerusalem, and they are wasted and desolate as to this day. So he's saying, as to this day. We know Jeremiah or Yirmiyahu was a prophet. So a lot of the things he spoke about has not taken place yet. But we'll keep going. I'm just trying to prove it. You feel what I'm saying? I'm trying to prove it. Let me make it plain. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Baruch Rishon, first Baruch. This is 2:23. And I will cease to the cities of Yehud or Judea, and from without Jerusalem, the voice of mirth, the voice of joy, the voice of the bridegroom, the voice of the bride, the whole land shall be desolate of inhabitants. Scripture says the land shall enjoy her Shabbats and have rest. How is this a land when there's war and bloodshed every day? This is Uyakra, Leviticus 26:34. Her land shall enjoy her Shabbats as long as it lies desolate, and you be in your enemies' lands. Okay, so Yasharal, are we in our enemies' lands? Obviously,
Absolutely.
we are. So it says it shall be desolate while we are in our enemies' lands. And even then, the land shall rest and enjoy her Shabbats. So if that's truly the land, how are these two heathen nations fighting, bombing, blowing up, and warring each other, but it's resting and enjoying its Shabbats? This does not fit scripture at all. I could keep going. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit more. Listen to this. Fear not, O my servant Jacob, be not dismayed, or Yasharal, for behold, I will save you from afar, and your seed from the land of your captivity, and Jacob shall return and be in rest and at ease, and none shall make him afraid. So that land that the Most High has prepared for us will not come back into the fullness of its beauty and magnificence until the true children of Yasharal are brought back to that land.
That's right. I agree.
And also, Messiah Yahusha said that he said a prophecy that no stone shall be left upon another. Remember when he said that?
Absolutely.
That wall in so-called the land of Israel is a Roman construct called Fort Antonia, which was built by the Romans. Why?
That's right.
Because those Jews are
That's right.
Edomite Romans. So of course they're gonna have their own structure there. This is my last witness, family, and I'm gonna go back to Akir. This is Genesis 13:1. And Abram went from Egypt, he and his woman, and all they had, and went into the south. Jubilees 8 gives a better contextual understanding to where Canaan could truly be. The Egyptian sea runs south near where the land truly is. It also mentioned Eden. Eden was in East Africa and Ethiopia near the land of Cush. The whole Bible mostly takes place in Africa. And I proved this last time. Obviously, the river of Eden is near Ethiopia. Okay. But it says right here, this is my last one. This is Jubilees 8. And his portion extends along the Great Sea. This is the Egyptian Sea or the river. And extends in a straight line to a region of the west or the south. For this sea is named the tongue of the Egyptian Sea. And it turns from here towards the south, towards the mouth of the Great Sea on the shore of its waters, and extends to the west to Afra. And it extends till it reaches the rivers of Gikon. Gikon is near Ethiopia. To the south of the waters of Gikon, to the banks of this river, and extends towards the east till it reaches the Garden of Eden. We just looked at Eden being in Ethiopia. None of this fits that land, family. It's just, I just have to make it plain. It just doesn't fit it. What up,
not at all.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, family.
Shabbat shalom, Miss
So,
Packer.
what's y'all thoughts on that land? I got to get a second opinion.
That's not our land. I mean, Yahusha made it perfectly clear when he said that, Jerusalem will be trodden underfoot by the Gentiles until, the time of the Gentiles has expired. Pardon me. But I believe that the land that we know as Yasharal, where the Ashkenazis, what they currently occupy, that's that little slither of land. There's absolutely no way.
Yeah, the Most High gave us so much more. That little sliver of land ain't nothing. The Most High gave us so more. And even reading Jubilees 8, there's so many more borders that do not account for what we see in that so-called land. It just doesn't fit. The Most High gave his people a large portion, not no little, just a little sliver. It just doesn't fit at all. Yada yada.
Facts. Yeah, they said like that's like the size of New Jersey. If his seed is
FO Judah, you're it looked like your camera just froze. You still with us, Ak? All right, go ahead, family. I think his camera froze, but yeah, go ahead, Ak. Maurice.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like if Abraham's supposed to have a seed unnumbered, like the sands or the stars, how that many people gonna fit in this size of the state of New Jersey,
Khan. Yahuwah told Abraham, he said, I will make you as numerous as the sands of the sea. So that was a prophecy that was given way since the very beginning of Habarith, the covenant, right? Now, here in the lands of our captivity, we done really, really, really grown in number. Okay, that has not stopped. That has not slowed down. That has not changed. So when the Most High brings us back to the land, right, it would have to be plentiful to receive all of us from all the nations where we're scattered, including the northern kingdom scattered all throughout Africa, because Jacob will return, not just Yahuwah or not just Yahudah, but all 12 tribes, Jacob, and the nations that cleave to us. There's no way in heck that's the land, family. There's just no way. So, Raymond says, I've heard various views on mixed children being Yashua or not. I think you should seek out Yahuwah for an answer. So the thing about mixed children, family, is the Most High doesn't want us mixing. I have to keep telling you guys this. It's the truth. He doesn't want us to do it. Now, for those who did begat mixed children, he said that they were not allowed to enter the congregation until the third or fourth generation. Now, the reason why I don't suggest mixing is because how could that possibly affect you as a parent if, let's just say, the Most High, you have a child, your child's 3 years old, we finally make it to the land, but the child's not allowed to enter the congregation because of that rule in Torah. Why even play around with that? Why even do that in the first place? The Most High spoke to Ephraim, and he was very upset with Ephraim because of these mixed children he was having. Okay, it's not so much so that, he didn't have a standard in place for that, but he wants his people to be in his congregation. So the fact that he had to set a standard so they couldn't enter should tell you everything. Like, I don't understand why people don't understand why he doesn't want us mixing. And he's like, oh, it's not really about color, because the nations that surrounded us, he didn't want us mixing with, were also melanated. They were black. So it has nothing to do with color. It's because you are a Kadash people. You are his chosen. He's chosen you for himself, Jacob, and he doesn't want you mixing with other nations. He gave you some very special Israelites, genetic abilities. And why would you want to taint that? And if you just consider mixing, I would highly suggest go and watch my video on the uniqueness of the Israelite, because you're only going to water that down. He made us unique. And he said you are tainting the Kadash seed by mixing with other nations. Please don't do it, Yasharal.
Facts. Yeah, it's not about color, it's about covenant. And he just happened to make a covenant with this particular people. So he don't even like mixing of cloth So
no, exactly. Yeah, fabrics. No mixing of fabrics. Exactly. He don't want you mixing his ways with the ways of the heathens. You are a Kadash people to the Most High, family. He loves you. He has chosen you for himself. He doesn't want you doing anything with the other nations. Yeah, can they cleave? Of course. Can they, accept you and worship our Alua? Of course they can. But you got to understand, he has separated you from them. And so if you're Kadash like him, then you have to understand that there's things he does not want for you because he has chosen you for himself. Praying for Elisha. Absolutely. Julian Jackson, you have just joined the queue. Sis, I need you to connect your mic because it says that your mic is not connected. So I can't bring you on until you have your mic connected. But yeah.
Yeah, so I want to say something real quick. Yeah, it's facts, man. Yeah, they have they have to cleave, and it's just Yahuwah. It's not about us. He's the glory. So, he welcome all if we have to first, and then first walk in his way, and then they would have to walk that way as well. So if to be a part of Yasharal.
And let me say this too. CC's on. Shalom, sis. How you doing?
I'm good.
Shalom, sis.
Good to see you. So I want to hit on what Raymond's saying because he made a really, really good point, family. He says inheritance also plays a role in mixture. Like praying for Elisha just said, they're not to mix tribes even. Part of that is to keep the inheritance in the proper family. Facts. Now, here's another thing people are not considering. The other nations, right? They will be servants to us. So how the heck can that work if you're a Yahudi, right? A Yahudi male, but your wife is, I don't know, from another nation, whatever nation that might be. She is going to have to serve you. She's not going to be in the same dwelling place as you. She's not going to, be able to be amongst you because you're going to be amongst Yasharal. They're going to be given their own section. That is just going to cause a lot of problems in the end. Stick with your own, bro. It's just that simple. I don't know why people can't understand that. The Most High just made it this way. If we're going to keep Torah, let's keep Torah. We're going to follow his ways, his laws, his statutes, commandments. Let's keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. Because one thing we all forget is that the mixing was forced on us in slavery by the heathens. So why would you purposefully and willfully do it? Why?
Yeah, because in Yahuwah's character, he Shalom family. I just wanted to don't know if I could talk yet. Can I go?
Yeah, go ahead, sis. Go ahead. Shalom to you, sis. Okay. Go ahead.
No, shalom, you guys. Shalom family. Yeah, in Yahuwah's character, he's all about distinction and separation, like Brother Maurice said, like even cloth, he doesn't want us to mix the seeds together, how we grow stuff. Like everybody, we should have been reading our Torah. He doesn't even want us to grow certain things together. Like he's always about the distinction. So it shouldn't really be that we shouldn't mix. Like even I just found out about the Judah should stay with Judah and Simeon with Simeon. I mean, that only would even make more sense if you ask me, but all is, it just, I feel it makes sense.
I want to address our sister here. Now, she is obviously from another nation. She says, where does that leave me? So, sis, for someone who's a non-Israelite, these laws of mixing don't apply to you. The only thing I would say is you're not supposed to mix or marry an Israelite man. Now, let's say you want to go after a Hamite because maybe you like melanated men, right? Who doesn't? But if you want to go after like a African Hamite, that's totally fine. If you want to date a Hispanic, you want to date anyone who's not of the nation of Yasharal, that's totally fine. But if you were to marry a Negro or an Israelite, that would be a sin in the Most High's eyes. And I know you have a love for our Father. I've seen you join our lives and everything. And I'm just saying that would be one thing he would not want. Okay. So, feel free. There's a lot of options out there as far as, other nations you could go for. But it's just when it comes to the Israelite man and the Israelite woman, the Israelite man's seed is for the Israelite woman. And the Israelite woman's womb is for the Israelite man. That's just the way the Most High has designated things. It's nothing against you, you know what I'm saying? But I just wanted to make that clear. But yeah.
Right. But here's a good gauge too, man. You notice, like, if you watch the commercials and stuff like that, what they push the alphabet stuff, the A, B, C, D, E, F, G. They push the mixing, they push the pork, the swine, all the commercials. So if they pushing it, it's probably not right. You know what I mean? If you're seeing it in the commercial,
And our beloved sister made a very, very good example. I'm loving this chat, man. I'm loving what people are bringing out. She said, Abigail Abiyah says, and he didn't even want the animal DNA mix. He said in Genesis, everything after its own kind. And wasn't it what the giants did when the angels came down and mixed with the women? When the Nephilim mixed with the animals, mixed DNA, these are all things he did not want. The Most High made a distinction between everything. Everything is distinct. You don't see chickens going after bluebirds. You don't see blue jays going after red robins. Everything is distinct. This is the way the Most High made it. It's just the wicked have mixed things, have changed things, have said, well, you can put this here and put that there and put this there. That's the way of the heathens, family.
My family, brother. Did anybody watch? I know we're not doing this a secular thing, but did anyone see the movie Poor Things? If anyone saw Poor Things, it won all these Oscars or whatever it was. I did actually watch it. Yes, I did last night, but it had a lot of mixing. What they did there, they're changing, like putting different people's brains in different people's bodies, putting chicken heads, chicken bodies on with a pig head. They had a pig head with a chicken body. They had put the chicken brain into the man. In the end, it was like, oh my goodness, it was so gross. It was so disgusting. It was disturbing, and I felt like by the time they're showing us these things, they're already heavily into it. And that was really, really weird. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, that reminds me of, I'm gonna ask everybody on this panel, to the people in the chat, please don't give the answer away, because I want to see if our mashpaka are paying attention. What is one of the signs of what Yahusha said when it comes to his return? There was something specific he brought up that happened before. I want to see if you guys know what that is before I give the answer.
Ooh, this is a good one.
I know I'm putting y'all on the spot, but it's all love.
Before he comes, okay. Temple's gonna fall, right? Or after. Sorry, before he comes. Sorry, y'all, give me a moment. Before he comes.
I'm gonna give you the answer in a second. If you don't know, it's okay. It's gonna be a teachable moment. But there's some very
You want me to say? I know exactly what you're talking about. You want me to say something?
Okay. I'm gonna pull it up. Okay, family. This is what he said, and this proves why mixing is not something we should be doing. Matthew 24. Yahusha says that it shall be as in the days of Noah. Okay, so we're going to start off in verse 36. But of that day and hour knows no man, not the Malachim of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so also shall the coming of the son of Adam or Adam be. For as in the days of the flood, they were eating, drinking, marrying, and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall be the coming of the Son of Man. So when you see these things, this is one of the mixing, right? The mixing of genetics, the mixing of DNA, the mixing of species, and all these things you're seeing, even when it comes to Israelites mixing with other nations. These are all things that are pointing to the return of Yahusha the Messiah. And that's why we have to be careful, because family, I'm noticing more and more they are pushing this interracial marriage thing hard. I'm seeing it, like more movies are coming out, more ideas of snow bunnies being pushed on TikTok. This is a harm to our men, and it's also a harm to our black women, because these white men are going after our black women just as much as the white women are going for the black men. This is something that's being done to white us out, to wipe us off as a people. This connects to Psalms 83. And I shall cut them off from the people, that they shall be known no more by the name of Yahshua. This is what they want to do.
Facts. That's what. Yeah. Facts. That's what it's about, man. You can see that if they can't kill you and destroy you one way, they're going to try many ways. And that's one of the ways. If they can whiten you out. And like before the whole the sickness thing happened and all of that, I was trying to tell my people. But even with that, with the whole Maxine thing, that's all a part of getting you, because it's like a blood covenant.
Hey, careful with them words, bro. Don't say them words out loud.
Yeah, I was talking about
Yeah, even saying something similar to that, just don't say it, because the algorithms are crazy. Just say the ouchie or something. Just don't say anything similar.
The cough, when that happened, that's what that was about. We have to understand and discern what is going on. It's a gene war. It's a seed war.
The thing about it is, it only takes 2 generations. Welcome back, family. Judah. It only takes 2 generations. Yeah, of course. It only takes 2 generations to completely destroy everything about your Negro identity, right? So let's say if I was a black man and I marry a white woman, right? And then we have a mixed child that's light skinned. If that little child decides to go after someone that's white, you know what I'm saying? By the time they have that child, them Negro features are going to be completely gone. They will not look indistinguishable from, a European. It is a whiting out agenda. And that's why this world is pushing it so much. Especially, I've noticed it since this awakening has really been coming out, that we're the people of the book. And what makes it worse is these nations are realizing who we are, which is making them want to go after us even more. They might have already had a fantasy about black people, but now they realize we're the Most High's chosen. So they're like, oh, I got to get me one of them. No thanks, bro. I'm good. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I understand all that. I had just wanted to say really fast, and then I can leave you guys to the panel. But I just wanted to say that this online family is just great to me. Like, we might have believers in our circle, but the circle is very small, and you guys make us great. Like, make America great. But you guys make us great, because we're calling on his name, and I just love you guys. I love you guys. I love this family. But I wanted to talk about what it means to be chosen. So focusing on that really fast. So I was like, I loved how you brought out that we shouldn't just focus on that it's more to that, because to whom much responsibility is given, much is expected. And so even though we are chosen, we're all trying to do everything the best way we can. I was reading Psalm 66 the other day, it's like 2-3 days ago, and it just stuck with me. And it was like Psalm 66, verse 17 through 20. It's really short, but it says, I cried to him with my mouth, and he was extolled with my tongue. And this is the New King James Version. It says, verse 18, if I regard iniquity in my heart, the Lord will not hear. But certainly he has heard me. He has attended to the voice of my prayer. Blessed be Yahuwah, who has not turned away from my prayer, nor his mercy from me. Yada Yahuwah. So Yahuwah. So I thought of that, and I said, what does if I regard iniquity in my heart mean? Like, what does that even mean? So I went to go try to see what regard means. Like, let's go find out what regard means. So Oxford, one of the better definitions I got was to regard, to consider, or think of. Merriam-Webster gave me a better couple. So Merriam-Webster defines regard a protective interest. He calls it, defines it as attention or consideration, a feeling of respect or affection or esteem, or an aspect to be taken into consideration. And the final, the worth of or estimation in which something or someone is held. We know what that means. So I took a better one. My favorite one was an aspect to be taken into consideration. So I told myself, so Yahuwah says, or the psalmist, sorry, says, if I regard iniquity in my heart, Yahuwah will not hear. So if sin is an aspect to be taken into consideration, or something I consider or think of, or have a feeling of respect or affection or esteem, then he will not hear our prayer. Hallelujah. So I just want to encourage us to look in ourselves and those little sins we have, even in our joy, and we're waking up and we're doing all these things. We're trying to go back to Torah. We got the whole Passover coming up, Feast of Unleavened Bread. We're doing it, We need to just really scrub ourselves and remember that if we regard it and hold it, he won't hear our prayers, and we must have our prayers heard. And I just wanted to share that with us, family.
Praise Yahuwah. Yada Yahuwah says, thank you. I think that is so important. And we got to be careful about our thoughts, because didn't Yahusha say that if you look up on a woman as if in a lustful way, you've already committed the act? So we have to, our thoughts and our intentions have to be pure when it comes to the Most High. And a lot of times our flesh will be provoked that could lead us to those places, which is why we have to definitely be fasting, being prayerful, and, cutting ourselves off from things that are not of the Most High that can entice our flesh to cause us to act in a way that the Most High doesn't want. Sometimes those are spiritual doorways we talked about in our last lesson. Close them all. Shut them all. Family, if you haven't seen my my video on spiritual doorways, it's very important to understand that as long as spiritual doorways are open, you will continue to be affected by those sins you can't get away from. Close those doors.
Hallelujah.
Yep.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah, family. Yada Yahuwah, man. You guys are great. That's all I wanted to say. Shabbat shalom, you guys. Get ready for that Passover.
Yeah,
hallelujah. Yada Yahuwah. Praise Yahuwah. And also, I want to say this too, sis. You mentioned that the gathering of our people on these streams is so small. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I think the channel is growing, but I prefer it that way, because when too many people come in, yes,
brother, I said no. My physical gathering, it's like 2 of us that we know of, but with y'all, you guys make it great. You guys give us numbers, and I love you guys. I love this channel. I love everyone in the chat. You guys be blessed, man.
Thank you so much. But, I just want to say, I'm glad you clarified that. But I kind of prefer it like this because it's so much more intimate. Because every now and then we might get trolls in the chat and stuff like that. But when we're able to kind of just come together and agree, talk amongst each other, share thoughts, I like my platform. I try to use it for people to have a voice. Maybe you guys don't have someone to gather with. Maybe some people have told me, Yexer, this helps because I don't have people to gather with. I'm glad to be able to provide that for those that are believers in Yahuwah, Yahusha. That's always been something I've wanted to do, is just be able to provide a platform to others, and we can all gather together as one in Yahuwah, Yahusha. So praise Yahuwah for that.
Yeah, praise you. Thank you. And thank you for that too, man. Thank you for doing what you do, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, family.
Yeah, we love the intimacy. But thank you. I'm gonna get off now, you guys. I love you guys.
All right, love you, sis. Yes, we hear you, sis.
Shalom, sis.
Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, y'all's daughter. What's going on, sis? How's it going? Shabbat shalom to you.
Shalom.
Did you have any thing to say?
Shabbat shalom, everybody. I just wanted to say we've been the sons and daughters of the. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
of the slave trade.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a timing thing, but anyway, we've been the sons and daughters of the slave trade.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother, well, my great grandmother, she was she was she was used, and she ended up getting pregnant with my
Mm.
grandmother.
Right.
and and that caused my grandmother to be, another a half of another nation, basically.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And my great grandmother didn't want to have anything to do with my grandmother
Mm. Oh my.
because she was so afraid that she would be hung in the South.
Mm. Oh my Father in heaven. Lord.
So it's very hard for my grandmother growing up because she wasn't accepted by the one race and she really wasn't accepted by the other race.
Mm. I want to say this, like a lot of what happened to our people under the hands of these nations. I mean, words can't describe how terrible that has happened to us. But I will say this though. Um, despite what has happened, these are not situations that we wanted for ourselves. And it is an example of the curses of Deuteronomy 28, right? But I do believe this. I believe at some point we will be cleansed. The colonizer blood will no longer be in us, right? No matter what happened, however long ago. And the fact that the Most High has woken us up to who we are, and as the scripture spoke of us returning to the laws, returning to the commandments, calling on his name with one consent, knowing who we are, understanding our position, is proof that no matter what did happen in those times, because it was spoken, we are still his people. And we can't really allow, what happened to our ancestors in those instances to kind of make us feel like, it's our fault and we're less than because maybe we might have Edomite blood in us because of what happened to our people. The Most High sees us as Yasharal. And we can't really change what our ancestors did. We can only live for the Most High now and move forward in obedience. And just the fact that we've been set free from these curses is a testament to his love for us and why he has given us a chance to redeem ourselves. It's just up to us whether we adhere to what he wants for us. But yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, Xer. Hey, Maurice. Hey, FO. And hi, everyone in the chat and watching.
Shalom, sis.
Shalom.
Shalom.
I love, I was waiting. I was here at 12:45. I think I was here at 12:43 today. Making sure I wasn't late or anything.
Yada yada.
Yeah. I've been kind of drawn and been woke for a minute and kind of had an understanding for a minute of who I am, who we are, the situation that we're in, how we got here, why we're here, and that we will be delivered. I just kind of wanted to address what Miss Elizabeth Drew is saying in the chat. Welcome, sister. We welcome, anyone who's coming in with an understanding of who we are, who the Gentiles are, where the places are. I wanted to address that she said she felt lost. I wasn't going to call in, but when I saw her put that in the chat, it kind of touched my heart, because sometimes I think that when the Gentiles come to an understanding and the script is so-called, for lack of a better term or phrase, flipped, they feel lost. And I just want to say, truly, we understand, Elizabeth, that feeling of lost, because that's where we've been generationally for a long time.
For sure.
For a long, long time. And so when you say you feel lost, truly believe we're out here going, girl, some of us still lost. You know, a lot of us, like we just read, that 2/3 of us are not going to make it. So that means we're surrounded. If we look to our left and we look to our right, those people may not make it if it's not us who falter and fall. You understand? Out of that 1 and 3. That was made me, I came to that understanding when I went to nursing school. That's one of the first things they say to you on the first day is look to your left and your right. One of the 3, 2 of y'all won't make it, is what they tell you.
Right.
So all we can say, I saw somebody else put in the chat for Elizabeth, is to read the word, pray, ask the Lord to give you an understanding and guidance, and know that you have a family here. But the one thing you have to understand, Elizabeth, at the beginning and the end of the day, is that we all have a role and a place in the kingdom. And as lost as we were, I mean, I'm almost trembling speaking, because what a joy to be found. What a joy to be found. You know, we're all here coming together in small gatherings, like Yexer said. The smaller the better. Because guess what, Yexer? Just like I alluded to in the last teaching in the chat, we can sit here and listen to this all day. When I get off of this, I noticed when we got off the last one, half of us went on over to the gates of Hulda and was listening to her.
Oh yeah, that's what I love, man. I love seeing y'all just like in these other Israelite channels. I'll be watching. I'm like, hey, it's my
We go from one to another because the word, we have a thirst, we have a hunger. Yes. It is unquenchable right now. I wake up, I go to bed, I'm in the middle of the night. I'm always in the presence of the Lord. My spirit is there constantly. And you know, I just wanted to address that, because I don't want you to think, and when Gentiles come around, and I just said this to a Gentile client of mine the other day, you know, and sometimes the arrogance that the Gentiles have had up over us, it's hard to let that go. It's hard to let that go. It's hard to see yourself at the bottom when you've always been told you're the top.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, that's why, you know, the Most High, you know, he talks about, especially when it comes to Edom. I know we talk about Edom a lot, but the Most High says that he's so prideful. The Most High tears down his high places, and he says, I'm going to build it back up.
Come on.
I'm going to build it back up.
That's the fist you showed us. That's the fist of resistance.
Now check this out. Now check this out. So we know that Esau's prideful, right? But didn't also Hashatan himself say that I will dwell amongst the stars of the heavens, and I will be like the Most High?
I'm gonna sit in the high sides of the north.
They are the same.
I'm gonna be like. That's right. Come on.
That's why they in their land over there. That's why they're in the land over there.
Faking and shaking and burning and turning. Ain't that a mess?
Yeah.
So what we need to understand, Miss Sister Elizabeth, is that we love you, and that's how you know. That's how we have always known something special was about us. Because although y'all have been up over us, y'all have mistreated us, y'all have abused us, we still have a love.
We welcome.
Right. We ain't never left that. We ain't never lost that. And I just want to say that we gathering in small gatherings, but we go from one to another because we can't quench our thirst for our love. We want our Lord to just pour into us. And like Paul, that's the reason why I like the small gatherings, is because one day we will be together. And in these small gatherings, when he sends us to the wilderness, guess what's going to happen? We're going to still have to be preaching and teaching and praying and doing all those good things, praying and watching in the wilderness for him to come and get us and take us out of there. So when we in those moments, right now, I love what Pastor Darby used to say, we ain't got no long life, no long prayer life, we ain't got no stamina listening and hearing the word. And so I always think about that when I go from one to another, one teaching to another. And when I'm reading the scriptures, going from, one to that, I think I'm cooking, and then I'm praying and I'm asking for understanding, I'm meditating. And I always think about the scripture where it says, Paul was preaching so long, the man fell out the window. And Paul went down and had to lay on him and brought him back and said, come on back up. And he taught some more. And they ate, they sat and ate and fellowshiped. And that is where we are in these small groups. That's what these small groups are. They're building up our prayer stamina, our stamina to sit and just listen to the word, not be, as Pastor Darby used to say, we don't need the production of the Potter's house or some of these big places. We just need the straight, unadulterated, no chaser, give us the word. Because that's what brings us, that's what makes us, that's what keeps us, as the word says. We got to be kept, and the only way we can be kept is in the word. But sister, I wanted you to understand that when you say you feel lost, know that our heart goes out to you, because we've been lost for a long time, girl. We've been lost for a long time. We still lost, again, we welcome you.
Yes. We welcome you. Yahuwah has an order, though, so
come on, Maurice, with it. But I'm gonna get off here too, fellas, because I don't want to hold nobody else up. And Yexa, you guys know, if y'all heard me the first time I called in, I'll get the going and something will be said before I know it. So I don't want to do that. Good. I don't want to do that today. I just wanted you all to know I love y'all. I see y'all. I hear y'all. I wish that we could just reach out and touch each other, and those of us that were close in proximity could get together and we could watch these together on some lives. But unfortunately, in the times we living in, we can't always know that that's safe, because there are always going to be goats in there with the sheep. There are always going to be wheats in there with the tares. So we have to be very careful with that until the Lord sends us out to the wilderness, and then we know that here we are.
I want to say this too, we have to, and I've said this so many times, family, I've said that we have to kind of get used to dealing with each other, because when we go to that wilderness, we will all be together, you know what I'm saying? And so we got to put aside, because listen, the Most High, he is not finna have these doctrinal disputes amongst us in the wilderness. He's gonna need us to lead the Gentiles, right? Because they have to cleave to us. And so we have to somehow find some sense of uniformity and unity in this truth now, before the second Exodus.
We have to know our roles also. I also wanted to say this in the teaching. We were talking about the Exodus, right? And all the things, the plagues, the things that were going on. I read so much. I'm into so many different extra biblical texts. It's unnecessary sometimes, but it's always bringing in, more information and edifying. So one of the books I was reading, it was saying that during the Exodus, that every Egyptian in the world was affected during each plague. So it didn't matter if that Egyptian had traveled to America and was in the Grand Canyon area.
Right.
He was still affected by the plagues that were going on where the people were being held. And when the Exodus happened, it said that all of the world saw and knew that the Exodus was going on. Now imagine that. See, we could imagine that now because we had the internet. They didn't have the internet, I don't think. But imagine that all the world back then saw and knew that the Lord was delivering his people. So that's going to happen again. And so when I think and I read that, I thought about that, and I said, wow, it said all the Lord, it said that when the water parted, it parted into 12 rows, so that each tribe went separately in their rows, in order, because the Lord is a God of order. So they all went in there and through the 12 gates of the water on the dry land. And it also said that the water, when it parted, it rose so high that you could see that wherever you stood in the world, that there were rows of water when the land was parted, the water was parted. So I just wanted to say that just like we know that the word tells us that the whole world will know what the Lord is doing for us when he delivers us. So we have to be mindful of that when people are telling us to run to Africa, get up, y'all, it's time for us to go. the Lord say when they say he's in the wilderness, what he say? He said, don't go, because that ain't right.
Right, don't go.
Don't go running with them false prophets. So
Uh-huh.
I just also wanted to put that in there too, because he says he's going to gather us and he's going to show these nations. He's going to prove to them also. It was making us remember that he loved us. We have forgotten. We were being worked so hard and so downtrodden as we are now. Sometimes we forget when we open our eyes in the morning to say, thank you, Yah, for another chance.
All esteem
Another
to the Most
chance.
High, sis.
So that's all I'm saying is, so we got to remember that. So talking about that Exodus, boy, that Exodus gets me. I love to talk about that because, we can't even imagine what them plagues was. We can't even imagine how hard Pharaoh Nim had to be, because it wasn't just him. Now imagine, see, we think it was just Pharaoh's heart was hard. All them Egyptians just about hearts was hard. Because
Right.
one of them wasn't none of them running to Pharaoh saying, hey, listen, man, one of them pulling no coup trying to kill Pharaoh and say, let's get him up out of here because he's about to get us killed. So all of the people, so that's where what we deal with now is that their unwillingness to come to the truth and let the truth come to the surface. That's the time we're living in. And when it comes to our parents and the trauma that they went through, the other young lady was speaking about her grandmother and stuff, the trauma that they went through, y'all. No offense to any boomers that are in the chat and that'll hear this later, but the trauma, we can't even, if we weren't of that time, we can't imagine what it's like to think this. Even in today's time, we think it's bad, but like she said, I can't imagine that. I don't want to imagine what my mother knew. I know what my mother knew. He done told us stuff my grandmother knew. I don't want to go back and try to imagine that, because I couldn't live today, because today is so integrated. Could you imagine if we was thinking about that all the time, and we had to work with people like Elizabeth and people of that stature? What would we be doing? Steady cutting throats. We'd be steady Nat Turner them every day. It'd be a Nat Turner ride. So we have to understand that the generations that we are, the generations that are coming, our children, our grandchildren, some of that they don't need to have that. They need to have the Lord's word. They need to be guided by the Ruach and have a grateful, a love in their heart, because some of our parents and grandparents couldn't love. They can't put that love in their heart for somebody that they saw do that. My grandmother had 2 brothers that was lynched behind 2 white women. So as much as she could work with them, be around them, because she had to clean their floors and do that kind of stuff. Imagine, we didn't all seen the help. Imagine that. So we didn't have to clean that and be that, work that hard to be around them. So that's, I wanted to put that in there too, that when she said that about what went on with her, that's called trauma. There's a lady that talks about trauma, how it affects your body, how trauma is in our DNA. And it's passed down from person to person to person.
Generation.
Right. So that trauma is in our DNA from what happened to our grandmothers. Once something happens in your lineage, it's passed down from that point on. So that trauma is already in our bodies. That trauma is there. Just like Elizabeth, that sense of entitlement is in your DNA. And when we say that you have to know your role in the Lord, in the kingdom, that's what we're saying. You got to break that entitlement that's deep down in your bones, in your DNA.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Just like love you all. Y'all have a good one.
All right, sis. Thank you so much. All right, family. Do you guys have anything else to say? Because I'm trying to address this person, but I'm not really sure like what she wants me to say. She says she had questions, and I'm just a little confused. So yeah. Anyway, do you guys have any thoughts?
Yeah. Hey, Yex, I'll make it real quick, man. I understand time is of the essence, but first off, man, Shalom Ak, and man, your ministry, your teachings, man, they've been an absolute blessing to me and the family, man. So we greatly appreciate how the Ruach has been using you, man. Keep up with it, bro, because the work is definitely not in vain. You got a great reward, I believe. But
thank you so much.
And man, I'm grateful to be on the platform, man. Thank you for the invite. But like I said, real quick, man, just keeping up with the topic of the live, what it means to be the chosen. For one, it's an absolute privilege, honor, and it's a whole blessing to know that Yahuwah, who created all of this, he chose us. I mean, that's sobering and it's humbling. And so for me, it's about maintaining a humble posture, before Yahuwah, and understanding that this is a great responsibility to bear his name. You know, it's nothing to be taken lightly. And as you had clarified earlier, you know, that's taking his name in vain, like not understanding its worth and its value, and basically
Yes.
trample it under feet, like, you know, it really means nothing. No, bearing the name of Yahuwah, it bears a lot of weight, responsibility, and it's something that needs to be valued and cherished.
Yes. I mean,
So
I feel what's crazy to me, Ak, is I feel like people put more they put more value in being an Israelite than they do the name of the Father. And that's great.
right.
We're called by his name, right? You know what I'm
That's right.
saying? He set his name upon his people. The temple that Solomon built was where he put his name. There's so much emphasis on his name. And the word of Yahuwah says that in his name is a strong tower. In his name, we are safe. His name tells us who he is. How can you know
That's
someone
right.
but not know their name? That's a relationship when you know their name.
And my brother, that's what it comes to, is having a relationship. I mean, he makes it clear in his word that he's married to Yasharal.
Right.
And brother, I'm anticipating that great day when the bride is going to be remarried to the groom, which is Yahusha. And
Yes.
like I said, man, just bearing his name. I mean, think about the pride that a person carries knowing that I'm related to LeBron James, or I'm Kobe Bryant's cousin. You know, you can name all these world-renowned celebrities, and the pride that their relatives feel just being able to tell others, oh yeah, Drake, that's my nephew. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, so I don't think people understand, like, bearing the name of Yahuwah, and not just bearing his name, but we bear his name because we're his children. We're his people. I
Right.
mean, that's like I said, man, for me, that's sobering. It humbles me, and it's a great responsibility and a privilege, you know. And of course, you know, all praise and honor belongs to Yahuwah, but also with bearing his name, just man, when you think about the promises and what we're going to inherit, you know, in the kingdom, all I can say, I mean, without, you know, going into a 30-minute sermon, all I can say is eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has it entered into the heart of men the good things that Yahuwah has prepared
For those
for
who love
them that love him, those
Yahweh.
who are
Yes.
called according to his purpose. Like, I can't even begin to imagine, like I said, or like the word says, I don't think my mind even has the ability to conceive the
Right.
good things that Yahuwah has stored up for the redeemed, for the righteous, for those that love and trust him and worship him. But I know our reward is going to be great, man. And I just can't wait.
Absolutely.
I
It's
can't wait.
unspeakable. It's unspeakable. It's inconceivable. It's not something our minds are capable of understanding, which makes
Right.
it that much more grand. That's much more beautiful, that much more worth it in the end. And it's like whatever I deal with here on Earth, family, whatever I'd go through with, you know, coworkers or just people in general, I always hold to the words of Yahuwah. That's why I always make these scriptural encouragement videos, because I want everyone of Yasharal and the nations who cleave to always remember what the words of the Alua of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob has said. Thousands of years ago, he has not changed, and he's still the same Alua that made that
Yes,
covenant,
sir.
that delivered his people, that did great things before the other nations, that they bear witness to his name and knew who he was. Even when you think about like Babylon, right? Like, you know,
Mhm.
Nebuchadnezzar, he wasn't really a believer in Yahuwah, but the works that he did through Daniel, that he
He's
did through the three
class.
Hebrew boys, he started praising Yahuwah, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, in those moments. And that was
yeah,
another example I could have used in the lesson, but I was, you know, trying to finish it. But that's a beautiful thing, man. And you know, the fact that he chose us of all people, the most hated, the most oppressed, the most, you know, downtrodden people, to bear his name and bear his power and help the nations know him. I don't take that lightly at all, family.
that's right. So yeah, fam, and also, and just in closing, we're to be a light to the Gentiles as well. You
Yes.
know, I understand, you know, the times in which we're living. Um, And I also understand the people that we're dealing with. And I'll reference one thing my brother-in-law had mentioned before. He said, it's hard to reason sometimes with, Neanderthals and Goths and people that, mentally, like they don't think on the same level. And I don't want to stereotype a whole group of people, because I understand there's exceptions in every cases, but I think as a majority, you know, a lot of them don't think, and maybe the reason why they don't think and process or even understand the world as we do is because they don't have that same connection with Yahuwah. So maybe they're not as spiritually sensitive as we are, you know, and so, they process things a little bit different. And I think it also goes back to what Isaac had said about Esau. You're gonna live by the sword, you're gonna die by the sword. Yeah, you're gonna eat the fat of the land, but it's gonna come by way of bloodshed. And that's just that innate barbaric nature that a lot of them bear, and so sometimes it's hard to reason with someone who just feels like, if you don't, if you don't, just adhere to what I have to say, then I'll just conquer by force. I'll take it by force and I'll make you, I think that's their mentality. But we see the judgment. We see the handwriting on the wall, and we see the judgment of the whore of Babylon, and they're going to be brought to their knees very soon. And so my prayer is that those who are going to cling to Israel would understand that, hey, time is short, and now is the time to recognize that, hey, you still have a space to repent, but if you fail to, if you procrastinate, you will receive of the plagues of, the whore of Babylon. And so, hey, yeah, now's the time to really humble yourself before Yahuwah and cling to his people, So,
absolutely.
Yeah, man, we got to be a light to the Gentiles and love one another and keep encouraging one another. And again, I appreciate, the encouraging words and just your whole ministry, man. I appreciate you being unfiltered and just unapologetically just who you are, man. That genuineness, it's contagious, man, and it's appreciated, Ak. So all
Hey, thank
esteem
you
to
so
you,
much,
who,
family. All esteem
man.
to
It's
the
all
Most High
love, Ak.
Yahuwah. Family, it's always good to have you on here, Ak. You bring so much knowledge, and I think this is actually the first time I really actually got to hear you kind of really speak your truth, man. And you spoke to me in more ways than in just this moment, Ak. So I appreciate you. We definitely want to have you on a panel more often, Ak, for sure.
Ak, I love you. I appreciate it, man. It'd be my pleasure.
All right.
Maurice, I'm sorry, Maurice, Moray, love you, Ak. Shalom.
Yeah, for sure, man. Good knowledge, bro. Yeah, we need to come on to this panel and continue to spread the knowledge, because that's what it's about. The gathering of our people and, spreading what you got. We all
Yeah.
have different perspectives. So I appreciate you, man. I love this panel. Love what you're sure doing. Like you say, the genuineness. So, yeah, peace. I'm gonna say my little piece too and get on off. About what does it mean to be chosen? First of all, I'm gonna say they knew what it meant for us to be the chosen seed. The deception still looms, but the fact we're waking up, but the miseducation of our people had arrested our development. So, now we waking up. And it's about, like you said, the feast day is coming around. Like CC, my wife, was saying earlier, it's about purifying, and that's the more. This is his gathering, when his visitations, his moeds. It's like an appointment he has for us. So we're getting ourselves ready. We cleaning out, mainly clean the inside of the pots. Let me just leave that with the panel. We welcome all. It tells you not to abhor the strangers. So we welcome all strangers aboard.
Right. Yep.
And I appreciate what you're sure doing to give people this opportunity, give people this voice, until we gathered into this place that Yahuwah has set aside for us. So I'm gonna say Shabbat Shalom. I look forward to come anymore, and I love the panel. I love all the people that made their comments and everything, man. So
Yada yada, man. Thank you so much, Ak, for jumping in. I'm gonna go ahead and close it out. Judo, you got anything else to say, Aki, before I close this thing out?
Yeah, I just want to say Shabbat Shalom to you, brothers. And hopefully, man, if Yahuwah says the same thing, when we get to this wilderness, if they got some hickory wood and some brisket over there, I can hook y'all up some of this Kansas City style barbecue, man. We have a good
Hey, all praises to
What y'all think
Yahuwah.
about that, man? Hey, I'll
I'm
even
looking
whip up the
forward.
baked beans too.
I'm looking forward to
Man,
that.
let's do it. That's what we do.
Off top, family.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what we do. We get together. We make it happen.
Hey, my guy said brisket. Hey, I feel you.
Sir.
All right, but yeah, Shalom, fellas. Have a good
All
one,
right,
man. Y'all enjoy y'all
have a
Shabbat.
great one. Love you, Ak.
Love you
Shalom.
back, fam.
Love you.
All right, family. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this thing out with prayer. It's been a great stream. Family, we're gonna just close this out with a prayer to the Most High. The Most High has been so good. Throughout this stream, we've had a lot of good, intelligent conversations, and we've got a lot of new people in here today too. You know, look at Yahuwah. So, Ak, I'm gonna go ahead and close out the panel. Do you have anything else to say before I close it out? All right, I guess not. Okay, Yada Yahuwah. All right. Ab Yahuwah, creator of all things. Father, we your people and those grafted in, we come before you to give thanks, to esteem your name. Your name is above all names. Father, we know from your word that you fight for your people. We know from your word that you chose out of all the nations of the earth one people for yourself, that your might and your power and your strength be demonstrated, that the other nations may come to know you. We were not the greatest nation, not the largest nation, but we were a nation that you called beloved and that you said, you are mine. And Father, in these last and evil days, as your power continues to show through us, your people, Father, we pray that the nations who don't yet understand who we are will come into the covenant. Father, for all the sheep of the lost sheep of Yasharal who do not know you, Father, we pray that your power will be demonstrated through us who do know who we are, to our family, to our friends, to those around us, our neighbors, that they will also return to this covenant before it's too late. Father, we believe that we are about to see your power being demonstrated, and we want to be there to help pull our people back into covenant with you and those nations who are willing to cleave. In the name of your son, Yahusha, who you sent to redeem all peoples that believe upon his name and believe upon your name. Amen. Praise Yahuwah. Thank you guys so much for joining. This has been a great stream. The hardest thing, honestly, is leaving. I don't be wanting to leave, family. I don't really wanted to leave, bro. I'll be having so much, great vibes with you guys. But thank you guys so much for joining. Bati, Yah, Shabbat Shalom, sis. Good to see you. Praise Yahuwah. Hidden Ones, family, please, when you get, matter of fact, I'm about to post her link. Family, please check out that movie. Okay, as we close out the Shabbat, I think that movie is a great movie to watch. I'm going to post the full movie in the chat right now. This is our beloved sister, Hadassah. She has been doing a great job waking up our people, and this movie is just a perfect thing to close out your Shabbat too. I'm going to post it here in the chat at the top. So if you want to just go ahead and jump in and watch the movie as you leave the chat, feel free. I just posted it. It's pinned to the top of the link. All esteem to the Most High. I love you guys so much. We will be back next week. I have another lesson I'm going to be bringing probably around Wednesday, maybe a little bit later on in the evening. Thank you guys, everybody that joined today. May the Most High bless you guys. Have a great rest of your Shabbat, and I will see you guys in the next study. Shout out to my beautiful moderator, Markia, and our other Ak. I think he left, but all esteem to Yahuwah, Kim Yali. Thank you so much, sis, for being here. I love you guys. May the Most High bless you abundantly in the name of Yahusha, the Messiah. Shalom. Love you guys.